every minute now. Hi and good evening, and I'm hoping you're all doing well. And as you can see on to my right, or maybe to your left, I've got Dave from Old Skool Gunner. So welcome, Dave. Thanks for coming to the channel. Hope you're doing well, and obviously enjoying that time off that you've strongly deserved, my friend. How you keeping?
I'm very, very good, man. I just want to start by thanking you for inviting me on your channel. It's been a long time since I've guested on someone's channel. I want to thank you very much. I'm here to support your channel, man. I'm here to support you. You're a decent fella. I just want to thank everyone. Smash the likes for this man, guys, and subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. And yeah, big up, man. I am enjoying my days off.
Thanks,
thank
mate.
you very much.
No, you're definitely an advocate of my channel, and also I'm exactly the same for you, mate. I mean, like, you do some good content. I've made some good friends over the last couple of weeks speaking to you guys on there. So yeah, it's been great. Funny enough, considering I'm a Hammer, it seems like most of the Arsenal channels and that you seem to get on better than them than you do my own kind of fan base. So it's quite an interesting mix in that respects. So, but no, I'm not changing. I'm not changing allegiance. I'll tell you that now.
No.
So yeah,
no need.
How did you? No, of course not, mate. I mean, how did you get into football yourself, Dave? Was you a player? Did you kind of?
No. I did karate back in the day. I used to fight, but when I was a younger man. But I was basically just like football is big in my country. I'm Irish, guys, if you don't know. I come from the same city as Roy Keane, Dennis Irwin. I come from Cork. Basically, I was just football is big in my country, but in my city, of course, like we have the League of Ireland, but the League of Ireland is semi-pro or amateur, whichever you want to look at it. In my opinion, amateur. Well, they're professional players, but the league is anyway. We look to the UK. We look to England. I mean, it's all Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea. You know what I mean? When we were in schoolboys.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to pick a certain team, but of course, for me, it was a natural thing with Arsenal. I had a general like for the team. I liked Ian Wright, of course. I liked Alan Smith, Anders Limpar, guys like that. I'm going back a bit now, guys. Steve Morrow, Stevie Bold. Of course, the one and only incomparable Martin Keown, the toughest man to ever play for Arsenal. But yeah, basically it was a no-brainer for me. I think I was maybe 12 or 13, so I'm going back over 30 years, guys. And then it was a natural thing for me, and I just fell in love with the team. I fell in love with the red and white. I fell in love with North London's finest, and they are North London's best team by a mile, in my opinion. And we've won numerous titles compared to the other lot. But I just fell in love with the team. My mum came home one time, I remember, when she didn't know any better, the poor thing. And I was starting school, and she came back with the Everton pencil case. I was like, Mum, this is a Liverpool football team, right? So I stepped back. The bin was in the corner, and I did a 3-pointer, and the pencil case went straight into the bin. No disrespect to Everton, but I was already Arsenal, and it was as simple as that. The poor woman didn't know that it was a football team. I mean, God bless her. Me poor mum. But that was it, man. Basically,
what your family was. Sorry, Dave. I was going to say, so your family was Liverpool. Your family was Liverpool.
No, nobody, man. I'm the only football fan. I think my sister liked United, but the only reason she liked United was because Ryan Giggs. That was the good Ryan Giggs before he turned into what he is today. So my sister liked Ryan Giggs back in the day. Giggs was for the girls. You know what I mean? Was Arsenal? We didn't have anyone like that. You know what I mean? We didn't have any.
You had a strange. It seemed to be the criteria. You didn't exactly have any really good-looking players in the Arsenal squad back in them days, did you? That's for sure.
No, but they could kick Giggs up into the air. They could kick Giggs up into the air a few times.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I mean, it was. For me, obviously, it's the George Graham days where you were more stronger in that. I mean, obviously, Wenger seemed to have changed the style, what you did, the way they kind of did the training, etc. But as you went on, I think obviously at that point, and then of course, Bruce, and then of course Emery. How did you feel about that one? Did you feel Emery was hard done by?
Unai Emery, I do. Well, look, I was absolutely slating him at the time, because the man couldn't speak English. That was the only thing that I really like. He needed a translator with him, and I don't think he was getting it across to the non-Spanish speaking players exactly what he wanted. Now, when I say he couldn't speak English, The man couldn't speak English. I don't think he could get his. Arteta is a bit more dynamic and a bit more resourceful in that means it is important, man. I don't think he could get across fully. It was lost in translation, like the movie. And I didn't think because of that, I thought it was I remember the ex-wife while we were sitting down watching it one day. She's a native Spanish speaker. We were sitting down watching it one day, and I was to her like, "Look at it." You know what I mean? And she was like, "You know what I mean? It's bad. It's bad." I mean, he needed a translator. It was just difficult. I think he was hard done by.
No, it was.
He was hard done by, man. He went back to Spain, and look what he's achieved with them. I mean, look at all the titles he won with the Yellow Submarine, man, with Villarreal. Look at all the titles he won. Look how he's done in Europe. And his team, the team that he had, Arteta picked that team up, yeah? And that's the 2017 Cup competition we won. I think FA Cup 2017, that was Unai Emery's team. Look at Emery now, man. And look at him with Villa. Big up Unai Emery, man. I think he was hard done by. Big up Unai Emery. I got nothing but time for that fella. And when I see him doing well with Villa, you know what? I got nothing but respect. I would not say a bad word against him.
No, exactly.
I said the thing about his English and this and that. It's the truth. I wouldn't say a bad word against Unai, man. Unai's all right. He's one of us at the end of the day, and he always will be. Big up Unai, man.
Good, mate. Good. Big up to LFFC TV. Thanks, guys, for coming on. Hope you're doing well. What do you think about your recent signings? If you'd like to let us know, it's good to see you guys actually getting some good players in.
Who did they sign again, man?
This season?
Who did they sign again? They signed. Who did they sign? They signed.
We're going to muck up this word. That's Saborlov.
Ah, yeah, the Hungarian, yeah.
Hungarian. And who's the reason? And the other guy. I'm trying to think who it was again now. What was his name?
They got a big name guy as well. Another guy. Let me check.
Jeez.
Liverpool signings. They did all right for themselves, though.
Yeah, I think they're going to do well. I think obviously Klopp's got the chance to. There you go. Yeah, McAllister. That's it, McAllister and Zaborska. Thank you very much for LFC. Yeah, they're good, two good signings there. I think they do well for you. I think
they're good. They're good players, man. And if Klopp is back on it, if Liverpool are back on it, like they have been in recent seasons, Man City might get a bit of a land, yeah. But I think Newcastle are going to be a force to be reckoned with this season, man. The season coming. I think Newcastle are going to surprise a lot of people. They have a team. Man. They're going places. They have money.
They are getting there. I think they're looking at another forward, if I remember rightly. I think there's rumours true. There's another forward they're looking at, and I think they might spend some money there. But we know they're restricted at the moment with the financial fair play, so they've got to be careful what they spend at this stage.
Let me just ask LVFC TV, man. Sorry for cutting across here. What do you think about your former legend Steven Gerrard? He's gone over to Al Ittihad, and he's going to be coaching in the Saudi Arabian League. What do you think about that? Let me know, yeah? You see, Steven Gerrard has gone over there, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They made him an offer.
He's gone over there coaching.
I mean, they're snapping up everyone, man. They're snapping up players and they're snapping up coaches. I mean, to beat the band. Their league is going to be... Yeah. They have money, man. They have money coming out of... They don't know what to do with the money. They got so much.
That was interesting. So, LFFC TV, Benzema went there. One or two more to give Liverpool a chance to challenge top four, hopefully. Yeah, I think you will do. I think you're going to be up there kind of thing in that, Doesn't mean that Arsenal's finishing
No problem. Arsenal will come last, down in the relegation zone with Manchester City. we'll be in a dogfight with Man United for last place. Yeah. Us in United.
Well, they've completed the signing of Mount there, haven't they? They've got him there. What's it, 60 million?
Yeah, and they're going for Onana.
He's ready to go. Onana. He says he's ready to go on that one. So that should be an interesting one.
They're going for Andre Onana.
Yes, they've submitted. Is it 35 or 40 million? They've submitted for Onana.
That's right.
So that should be an interesting one.
I think the Hayes days are numbered, man.
It's a strange one with Stevie G, but it's good for him to learn his trade a bit more, come back a better coach. Yeah, that's not a bad shout, actually. Do you think he will eventually come back to manage Liverpool? There was a rumour back in the day before he went for the Villa job that he was going to come on the coaching side with Klopp, and eventually, if rumours to be true, he was going to take over from him, and as Klopp steps back. But yeah, hopefully with this, he might have learned from Aston Villa. He didn't exactly do well there, did he? Really? So hopefully with this, he'll learn more from it. Now, he can't do better than what old Gary Neville did at Seville. That's for sure.
Mm. It was difficult for him, though.
I wish him luck over there.
He's a former player.
Yeah.
Gerrard is a former player. He's not a manager as such, so he needed to learn from zero. I mean, it's at that level, man. It's Roy Keane as well. You can forget about it, man. I think anyway. It's difficult, man. He's not Carlo Ancelotti. It's difficult.
No, I mean, I think as you said, it's not all players, even good players, make it. I mean, if you look at it for us, I mean, Bobby Moore, he was never good as a manager. Player, exceptional, but as a manager.
Patrick Vieira, he did okay. Vieira did okay. But I mean,
yeah, but still not enough.
Lampard struggled.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe one day as Liverpool boss, but he needs a bit more before he can manage Liverpool. Yeah, agree. Unlike if you look at it, Arsenal, I mean, they took a gamble with Arteta, and they've stuck with him over the last 3-4 seasons, and last season it virtually nearly paid off.
Not willingly, man. Not willingly, I think, in a lot of cases, A lot of Arsenal fans are Arteta out, myself included. And a lot of the fans attended the protests against him and against Kroenke and the board. It came to nothing. So not willingly. I mean, if we had our way 2 or 3 seasons ago, Arteta would have been out the door, man. He would have slung his hook. We would have had him gone. But we couldn't because we didn't have a say. You know what I mean? It was out of our reach, beyond our power. But I pushed behind the team last season because the team was doing well. And I wanted to support them because they were making a real effort, and to support Arteta. But yeah, maybe I have softened a little bit to Arteta because what happened last season, and he really is making an effort. But you've got to say at the beginning, he was given a much better opportunity than Unai Emery ever was. And Unai Emery has actually better stats than him in his time in Arsenal. So that's a bit unfair in my opinion. But look, it is what it is.
Well, I think if you look at it, he was backed, wasn't he? Whereas Emery wasn't.
Yeah.
He was backed.
Yeah.
Big
Arteta was backed, and he was backed to the hilt. He spent how much now? 700 million since he came to the club. And we got 2 FA Cups. And he spent 700 million. So look, what happened last season was well overdue. But we should have wrapped it up. We should have won the league. And that is no disrespect to Man City. We should have got over the line. The performances at the end of the season, man. Look, don't get me started on them, man. The performances at the end of the season, disgraceful. I would be embarrassed if I was one of those players. I see Eddie Nketiah is over in Manhattan, or he's over in New York, or then he was in LA. Big up to Eddie, man. I like Eddie. But they have to be real with themselves, man. They can walk around with all the pomp that they want. But at the end of the day, it's Manchester City that cover themselves in glory. It's the likes of Haaland can walk down the road with his head high. And that Muppet De Bruyne, him as well. Like, you remember the FA Cup game? He pushed Mikel Arteta when Arteta was holding the ball. I mean, Arteta's our manager.
Yeah, straight away. Yeah, that says it all.
That's disrespectful, It was okay. Arteta was, holding the ball and wasn't giving it immediately.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Don't push him. He's the manager. He's the manager.
Yeah, but this is again, he's the manager.
You know what I mean?
You also,
and De Bruyne is a strong man. Arteta's getting old.
It works both ways, doesn't it? When you look at respect, when it comes to that respect thing. Because when you look at Arteta, he's pushed the line a couple of times, etc. I mean, if you look at a couple of years back, he tried it with Klopp. Yeah, and also he thought.
But De Bruyne is a Muppet, though. We're agreed on that.
He's a good Muppet.
De Bruyne is a Muppet. You're a bit of a Muppet, man. A bit of a Muppet.
Yeah, of course, but like he says here, no guarantees elite players can be great coaches.
Are you happy with your boss?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Neville, well, well, both Neville brothers, they've both proved that they're not exactly been great as managers.
Yeah, and poor Phil.
Question to your Old School. He's asking you, are you happy with your boss? Been about a few fans regarding him.
I am, and I ain't. To be honest, I am and I'm not. I was Arteta out before last season. Not to say that I'm not anymore, but before last season, I was Arteta out, like a lot of Arsenal fans I know. And we are the most positive Arsenal fans in the world. I mean, we love our club. But when they were pushing for the title, like I told Tony here, when they were pushing for the title, I supported the team, yeah, because it was a decent thing to do, because they were making a real effort. Not that I could walk down the street with my head high with my jersey on, but for my love of the club, I've supported them since I was a boy, my childhood club, yeah. And it was an exciting season for us at some points until we capitulated and bottled it at the end. And Arteta needs to take some responsibility for that too. Am I happy with Arteta? Not 100%. Do I support him a little bit more than I did previous to last season? Yes. He had a lot of heart, and he had a lot of, you could see that he actually cared. So that kind of won me over a little bit. But I do think that he should have come in as assistant manager at Arsenal to a manager with more experience instead of coming in as in the manager role. Those 3 years leading up to last season, or however many years it was, it didn't do us any favours. And the young players that we have, I mean, they stayed on board, but we could have easily lost them because the team was all over the shop. The team was at 6s and 7s. Remember the season we started off? I think it was the season before last. We were in the relegation zone for the first month. We were, I think, last or second from bottom. I mean, that wasn't exactly going to plan. That wasn't Mikel. That wasn't going to plan, Arteta. Simple as, man. So I hope that answered your questions. But I mean, I want to be 100% like, say what you want about Paddy Vieira, but of all the players out there, Patrick Vieira is an Arsenal legend. He's up there with Henry. He's up there with Bergkamp. He's up there with Tony Adams and David Seaman. He's up there. One of the greatest players to ever play for the club. Himself, Bergkamp and Vieira, probably, and I mean Henry, probably the 3 best. Vieira, Henry, and Bergkamp are probably the 3 best. So Paddy Vieira is up there. Why doesn't he get the opportunity to manage? He is an Arsenal legend, unlike Arteta. Arteta is not an Arsenal legend. He was terrible for us. One of the worst players I've ever seen at the club. But now he's manager. Why not? Why not Patrick Vieira? That's all I'm going to say.
So
I mean, Vieira, man. Vieira is an Arsenal legend. Vieira is an Arsenal legend.
Absolutely. I'm going to put this one up first. So he's put, I agree, Old Skool. Let's see if you guys can challenge again next season. You've got a good core now, just maybe a few players to build a squad. Because as you know, your squad is quite light. You know, with obviously the Champions League. I don't think even with Rice, obviously Timber coming in, etc. I think you still need a couple of more additions, especially if you're going to compete in the Champions League.
I'd agree with that. And to be honest, I don't think we have the power as well in the defence, apart from Saliba, who is a world-class player. I don't think we have the power in the defence that, for example, the team that beat us last season, Manchester City, I will compare it to them because it was compare and contrast, because at the end of the season, it was us and them, toe-to-toe, head-to-head.
Yeah,
and it was a 2-horse race. So I'm going to compare it to Manchester City. We do not have the power in the defence that they have. I mean, Nathan Ake, whoa, man. This guy for City is just an absolute powerhouse. I don't know if you remember, guys, but of course I will remember it. When we played them, he made Saka look like me. Now, Saka didn't even get a sniff. When Ake took over, he was taking man, ball, and everything else that was there. He's so strong. He's so fast. It's unbelievable. I mean, Saka was like breathing heavy, man. He couldn't get free of the shackles. He was outpaced and outmaneuvered, and like Ake is actually physically stronger than Saka. So when it came down to it, he didn't have the pace to get past him. He didn't have the strength. He couldn't outmuscle him. He couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? And Ake, for me, he came to my attention that night. He was absolutely brilliant. And he got the goal that won the game as well. Like I think in the 80th minute, he popped up with the winner. And it was a fantastic, fantastic finish. Composure, style, and nonchalance. He just smashed it in. And it was a brilliant finish. And he had the energy as well to get up to the other end of the field, like in the 80th minute. He's a powerhouse. Ake, man, like I said, I don't think we have the power in those areas. I mean, we could play them 10 times out of 10. We could play them right now, and they would win. City would beat us. We could play them tomorrow, same result. You see what they did to United in the FA Cup, man. That wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
of course.
Gundogan, okay, he's gone out to Barcelona, but my opinion, we still are not going to match City in the new season, regardless if we have Rice or Havertz. They're still ahead of us, and Look, but they're ahead of all the other teams too. They're ahead of the other
No,
teams
of
too.
course. Going back to
But
what you said
that's
there,
what
though,
you got to
Dave, when you
aim
look
for.
at Ake,
That's
for
what you got to aim.
instance, looking at Ake, would you say that, when you look at it, I mean, obviously he was a powerhouse, but would you say that was good management from Pep to realise that, right, this is the particular player I need to do a job on, Saka, this guy to go and do on Martinelli, etc. That's the difference, I think, in the level between him and Arteta.
Yeah.
Because
As
the
managers,
main thing is, I think you can agree on this, and no doubt the guys in the chat, big up Arsenal forever. I'm going to come onto the comments in a minute. But when you look at when it comes to changing up things, Pep's got a plan B. If you look at Arteta, that's one thing he hasn't got. He hasn't got a plan B. We've seen that. Say for me, it was the season before when you played Newcastle up at St James's Park. He froze. He was just like a statue. And there's all the coaching staff around him that was doing all the talks and pepping and getting people up. That was a bit, it was a bit sorry to see that, because when you think he's supposed to be the manager and it was his coaching team that's doing all the work.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, man. I would agree with that 100%. It was all Guardiola, all Pep. He had the idea. He set it in motion. He knew that they had to counteract Saka and Martinelli, who on their day can do the business. But like I said, the power that City have in the team, they definitely have a bit of physicality in there. I mean, Ake is much, much stronger than Saka, for example. Upper body strength, much, much more physical. A brilliant player, but he's a powerhouse. He can burst out with the ball and leave Saka in his wake, which he did many times on many occasions. Unbeatable. He was unbeatable that night. And Saka tried everything. I mean, he tried everything. Full repertoire, no effect. He was nullified. He was just cancelled out. And once they got on top of Saka, we were kind of toothless. And in the end, like I said, Ake popped up with the winner. But I'd agree with you about Guardiola. Definitely great man management. Great foresight before the game to see who could do the job. Obviously, Ake, he ticks all the boxes. Like I said, physicality, speed, composure. He's got it all. And a brilliant first touch. I mean, once he gets the ball under control, Saka was nowhere. He just took it out. You know what I mean? And he's got options too, let's face it. He's got the guys in midfield ready to take the ball, Rodri ready to receive the ball. So he could give it easy. And Rodri spun and he was away. We don't have anyone to match the physicality in the midfield either. I mean, Odegaard is not going to challenge Rodri. Declan Rice might go in, but Odegaard is too light. I'm stronger than Odegaard.
Yeah,
so
he will do.
Rodri is a beast.
I'm just going to come back onto this question from LFC, and that is basically, how about early doors? Yeah, what do you think the guys will do with Rice gone? Do you think you'll spend it wisely? Well, hopefully we will do. Now we've got this new sporting director, Tim Steadtine. We've got a chance of maybe, as long as he's given control in what he can actually go for, rather than David Sullivan getting himself involved like he normally does. We stand a good chance. By all accounts, he's ex-Bayer Leverkusen sporting director. He knows what he wants, and apparently when he wants something, he goes for it, and there's no stopping him, basically. So hopefully it's going to be a good thing for us. We'll get what we need. We definitely need to replace Rice. We know that's going to happen now, obviously. Finally, after this soap drama that's gone on between the two clubs. I think maybe one or two players we need to buy for the midfield. Definitely a forward. That's one area we're definitely lacking in. But the only problem with that is Moyes. It's his style of football that basically kind of holds us back. Playing the lone striker up top. We've lost two good strikers in Haller, and it looks like we may be even losing Skamaka now, because at the end of the day, as far as he's concerned, the player can't do it. But we proved that with Haller. We let him go, and records speak for themselves. He didn't stop scoring since he left. So that just tells you, if you play it the right way, you get the best out of the player. But Moyes, unfortunately, is not that kind of type of person. He plays the way he wants to play. And I think the fans, unfortunately, I don't think they're going to put up with this season. So, yeah, hopefully we'll buy wisely. We don't want to be mucking around and spend it badly. Like if you look at it, Spurs have done it with their money they made when they got rid of Bow. Same with us. You know, we've bought some bad players over the years. So yeah, going by what you said there, LFC TV, I hope that we do spend wisely and get the right players in. So yeah, as he agrees there, he's been brilliant from this year for real. Yeah, definitely. And another player from Man City that kind of I think it surprised everyone, being moved into the midfield position, is John Stones.
Oh yeah, brilliant.
Wow, that's a masterclass from Pep in that respect, because I think it was a couple of games before the end of the season.
He was
doing pirouettes on the balls and flicks and tricks. He looked like a Brazilian player at one point, you know. And that's John Stones we're talking about. You know, normally a Rose Z merchant kicking up into the stands, but he's suddenly become this, you know, midfield powerhouse out of nowhere. So yeah, it'd be interesting what's going to go on there. Arsenal forever. Arsenal third of Arsenal. Arsene Wenger statue outside the Emirates Stadium. Well, let's hope it looks like him and not the one that Fulham had with Michael Jackson, because we can't have that one going on again. That's going to be a bit of a strange one. So yeah. FC TV.
I'm just putting out the word there, man.
Huh?
Just putting out the word that I'm live on your channel there.
Oh, brilliant. See, definitely a powerhouse and far ahead over everyone. Pep is the key. Yeah, definitely. The problem is, though, I mean, he's only there till, the contract's up till 2025. So what happens afterwards? That should be interesting. That should be very interesting. I think he'll stay on. Now he's got, you know, he's finally won a Champions League. He'll probably want to get another one there. So hopefully he'll stay a bit longer than what they should say. LFCT, big up Arsenal forever. Yeah. Brilliant.
McManus. Big up McManus. My buddy. McManus in the house. So,
hopefully for you guys at early doors, and congratulations, the European title, well deserved. Thank you, mate. Yeah, it was a good game. I mean, me and Dave spoke about it on the last time we were together. 89th minute, great ball from Paqueta, latched on by Bowen, and even though it was a bit of a missed shot, a goal is a goal at the end of the day. We'll take that 2-1. Take that.
It went in.
That's your main thing. Evening at the Manus Gaming. Guys, if you haven't got the chance to do that, obviously subscribe to this guy. He's a good fellow in that. And obviously the same thing as well. Make sure you subscribe to LFC TV as well. You know, great guy as well. And obviously my colleague next to me as well. Don't forget about this man as well, Old Skool Gunner. If we can, subscribe to this guy as well.
I was waiting for that pause for a long time. Only messing with
You haven't got your scarf though, Dave. That's the unfortunate thing.
I have to pull in the mustard underneath there. Oh, I pulled the hamstring.
I think if you guys give him the opportunity to develop, you never know. But to think there's a bit of pressure on him now, spending big this year so far, with what happened last season. Yeah, totally agree on that. I mean, Dave just mentioned there, if it's £700 million he spent so far, you imagine if he starts spending in the winter transfer market, that guy's going to spend £1 billion virtually. That's £1 billion.
I'm sure McManus will have something to say about that, about Mick Arteta. Sorry, Super Mick Arteta, as he's been called. We've got Super Mick Arteta, okay? And the amount of money he's spent so far, McManus will be particularly scathing. Trust me, man. Because I know the guy. He's going to let it go. He's a fiery Arsenal fan. He calls it like it is. Yeah,
wow.
Well, McManus.
Evening all. I hope you're well. Who do you think you'll get with the Rice money? There's talks of obviously going for that Polina from Fulham, but I think the price tag is a little bit scary. I think they're looking for something like £90 million just to ward off any interest from any clubs. Ward-Prowse, wouldn't mind getting hold of him.
Hurricane,
he's not exactly going to hit the ground running, but he'll do a job. And for us, it's probably be a good thing.
Hurricane, buy Hurricane. Why not? He's a striker, but I mean, you know what I mean. He could do a double pivot. Isn't that what they call it? A double pivot. You know what I mean? He could play behind the striker. He could be like
that, all right.
He could be like the libero. You know what I mean? He could be like Beckenbauer back in the day, man. Just caressing the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You won't get far in the Premier League now, guys. Caressing the ball. Even up in Rosette. Caressing the ball. Rosette.
Well, put it this way. Look, now we've got the money from you guys finally for Rice. We may go in now with Harvey Barnes, but I did hear earlier on apparently Newcastle they're interested in him as well. So that'll be interesting to see what that player will do. But Harvey Barnes, that'll be a good addition for us. And I must admit, and I think I've heard it from other channels saying exactly the same thing. If he did come up for grabs, definitely I'd go for Ivan Toney. He'll do a number for us. He'll be, we did go for him before, but obviously he's decided to stay at Brentford. What have we got? Yeah. So obviously, the Menace Gaming, big up, bro. Yeah, big up Menace Gaming. You're most welcome, mate. You know that. Big up to you too as well, sir. Forget about them. It's up to your channels, top man. Also, for us asking if Arteta doesn't win us a trophy next season, all of them need to be sacked. No more excuses now, and it's true, isn't it? They've backed him enough, and enough is enough. You should start seeing.
Got the players, man. He's got the players at the club now. I'm not saying to win the league, but to win a trophy. I mean, that should be obviously we're not going to go all the way in the Champions League. Let's be honest about it, guys. But he's got the resources he needs to win a trophy. I mean, we have to go all out. I mean, last season was our best chance of winning the league. We're not going to win it in the new season, and I stand by that, and I will stand by that for the rest of my life. We're not going to win it in the new season. We're not going to be number one. Look, only one team can win the league. Yeah? Obviously, I don't mean to state the obvious, but only one team out of the 20 can win it. Last season was our chance. We're not going to win in the new season, and I don't want to put a negative light on things, guys, but it's just not going to happen. There's too much competition out there, and City are still ahead of us. But the cup, let's go for one of the cups. Like we had bigger fish to fry last season. That was a story coming out of the club. I hear it. I get you. It's true. But we didn't get that either. We did not win the league after sacrificing our place in both the cups. I mean, okay, we came up against a strong City side in the FA Cup, but we should have maybe taken the Carabao Cup more seriously, and get one trophy in. I mean, a win is a win, a trophy is a trophy.
Yeah.
Second place is nowhere. Second place in the league.
No, well, that's one thing they won't remember.
We could have come fourth. If we came fourth, we get Champions League as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Same thing.
Arsenal forever. I still find it shocking that Arsenal will pay the initial 100 million over 2 years, where we have the money to pay that off straight away. And this is the thing, Arsenal forever. Considering that everyone knew that basically Kroenke's got that war chest, he's given it to Arteta, and then obviously the club trying to do this. Bit of an insult in my eyes. At the end of the day, if you want to pay a player that badly, then you pay the money. I mean, it seems to be no drama when you bought Kai Havertz, and that's 65 million. So where's the difference? There's no difference at all, kind of thing. But the fact that you try to come up with a stupid kind of payment plan, like I jokingly say always, Klarna payments, buy now, pay later. You're trying to kind of say that if we win the Champions League, we'll give you X amount of more money. If we win the Premier League, we're going to give West Ham more money. If Declan Rice scores 10 goals for Arsenal, we're going to give you more money. And I give West Ham their dues. They actually turned around and said, when you're a bit more realistic, then we'll consider that. But we don't believe you're going to do any of that. And we want the money what we want. And rightly so. I mean, I think most Arsenal channels have all said exactly the same thing. Why are we kind of stalling over a deal for a player that you actually want? It just didn't, it didn't make sense. But then, if you look at it, you did exactly the same with Pepe. You try to pay for him over 3 instalments. But it seems to be the norm these days. When you look at some of the clubs, 5-year, 8-year contracts, you never used to hear that before. It was, 2 to 3 years, if that. But now we're looking at 5 and 8 years. That's everyone's on the knock for these days.
They were mentioning the financial fair play rules. Now, this is not an excuse or anything about Arsenal, but one of the lads I know, he let me know about the Declan Rice deal back on Boxing Day last year, that it was going to happen. He showed me like a bit of information that Rice wanted to go to Arsenal, That was last year on Boxing Day. But what he said to me was that it has to be... Yeah.
Because looking at that, I mean, Arteta kind of jumped, apparently he's an admirer of Rice, So if you think about it, you can always kind of think, well, did he actually tap the player up beforehand while they're still playing?
No,
You
but
never know.
what he was
You
saying,
never
the point I wanted to make was what he was saying, that it's going to be 3 payments over 2 years, but that it needs to be in the financial fair play windows when you're allowed to
Yes.
actually
Yeah.
put the money through. Otherwise, you could end up like Manchester City. But what's all this about? What's all about this from Streamlabs? Who is Streamlabs, and what's this about spamming?
I think what
It's
it was, because
blocking,
obviously,
people from writing on your.
yeah, I
Like
try to get it off,
McManus
and
doesn't do that.
it's come back on again for some reason. It's obviously put it all in
All he
block
did
capitals.
was post a comment.
Yeah, but in block capitals. So as far as they're concerned, it's like, not right. But hey, we're all freedom of speech
Okay.
at the end of the day.
Okay, is that what the problem was?
They've
Was
got
it?
to put on timer for spamming. Wow. We're trying to get that sorted out next time. Sorry about that,
All right,
guys. If it's happening.
McManus. Let us know what you think about Mikel Arteta and the 700 million he spent. Let's go. Here we go. He's got a comment up. McManus has got a comment up. Let's
I'm
hear
going to
it.
get to that.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
I mean, Arsenal
Let's
forever.
fire
He's
it
put
up.
a good one here.
Come on.
Ever since Peter Hillwood and David Dean have gone, this is how it's been going. Yeah. Those guys, yeah, they were legends for years.
Why did we move to the Emirates, guys? We moved to the Emirates to be a big club. We left Highbury, our home, to be a big club. We came to the Emirates. So let's win something. Big up,
We were
man.
taking the piss with the low ball bid and payment structure. We were talking to Russ in January. It was the number one target. We know how much West Ham wanted. And then we fully agree on that. Absolutely fully agree.
Go on, McManus. I don't think you realise the emotion that he's speaking with. If you saw the guy live on your channel, you should invite him on sometime.
Yeah,
He's McManus is a fiery Arsenal fan, man, and he will back down from no man. He is a good guy, but he says it with real. I don't think you realise the emotion in those words. Yeah, this man lives and breathes Arsenal Football Club, man, and he does it like.
No, you can see the frustration there, because as you said, why we're doing that. As I said earlier on, why? Let me just say this in it. No, don't worry. It's this.
Sub to my channel, guys. Sub to my channel. Come on.
Don't worry about that.
Sub to my channel, guys. I need 1,800. Come on, I need another 17.
So when you look at what McManus is saying here, and that, at the end of the day, and that's, I can understand the frustration in that kind of comment. The payment structure was the thing. That was, if you look at it, you was very lucky to keep hold of the deal, really, because that could have actually kind of stopped it altogether. If you weren't too careful.
It's just lucky. We're just lucky that the player actually wanted to come to Arsenal. Otherwise, he could have been a Manchester City player. He could have gone somewhere else. It's just lucky that we actually. I mean, you see, Bellingham has gone to. Is it Bayern now? Bayern Munich? Or am I wrong? No, Real Madrid. Bellingham has gone to Real Madrid from Borussia Dortmund. I mean, just because they're English players and they're good on the international scene does not mean that they will stay in the Premier League, or not that they will be in the Premier League, like Bellingham has been at Borussia in the Bundesliga. Now he has gone to La Liga with Real Madrid. Easy as you like, you know what I mean? So that could have happened also. And it's not like there's not enough suitors out there for a player of Declan Rice's. And one more thing, let me go off on this one. Big up to my man Chris Lee in Switzerland, yeah? He's an FC Basel fan. Big up to Chris in Zurich. But Chris, I love you, man. You're my brother. I got your back for life. But Chris, he said to me today, because Granny Xhaka left, yeah, because Granny Xhaka is meant to be leaving Arsenal, going to Leverkusen. He said to me, let's see if Declan Rice will be as good as Xhaka. He's a better player than Granny Xhaka, Chris. And I love you, man. You're my brother. I got your back for life. But come on, man. See, in Switzerland, Granny Xhaka is the Swiss captain. Xhaka is the Swiss captain, the national team. I get it. Over there, they think he's Pele. No. Switzerland have a good team, yeah, but Xhaka is not all that. Shaqiri is very good. I think he's still at Liverpool, or did he leave Liverpool? But Xherdan Shaqiri is the real deal, yeah. Xherdan Shaqiri is the real deal.
He's a good
Much better than Granit. So Shaqiri's a good player, man. He's an animal of a forward. But Rice is better than Xhaka. And that is no doubt in my mind. Regardless of the season Rice has with Arsenal, he is a better player than Granit Xhaka and a better midfielder. But big up to my man,
Well, he's
Chris
a
Lee.
bit
He
more
loves
level-headed, that's
Xhaka.
for
He
sure,
loves
Dave.
Xhaka. I get it. He loves Granit Xhaka. He's Swiss. They think
Well,
he's mad.
this is the question I've got. As much as they're saying he's going to Leverkusen, it doesn't mean he is. Until you see him in that shirt, there's nothing going on at this stage. He's still your player. So, Dave, we're paying you the favour here. Yeah. So, if you look at it, he is now actually sub to your channel as well. So,
thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Don't forget to click on the notification that you get notified every time I upload content. Yeah, but you probably know that anyway. Just so you know when I'm uploading content.
Asking Arsenal forever, he's got a channel. Hopefully, he will do. He's a good guy. He says some really good stuff. I think I'll do my own channel, but he might bottle it like Arsenal did for the title. Well, at least you know the title for your new channel anyway. You're going to do the Arsenal forever.
Does LVFC actually have a channel?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, I'm going to sub to that.
Yeah, he's a good guy as well.
Let me have a look now, yeah? I'm just going to do it now, yeah? Don't think I'm ignoring. I'm just going to do
Definitely,
it now.
McManus, he is on a different planet. I mean, like I said, for me, he's going to give you a bit more maturity, a bit more strength in the middle of the park. As you know, he's good at intercepting passes, etc. He's good at kind of, working from end to end. So he'll give you something a bit more what Xhaka has done. Plus the fact you're not going to see so many yellows or reds from Rice because at the end of the day, he just does what it says on the tin. No nonsense football, basically. Just kind of gets stuck in, defends, and pushes forward. So, yeah, it's completely different from Xhaka in that respect.
There you go, LVFC TV. I got your back. You can see it there, maybe. There you go. Subbed. All right. Big up.
2 years ago. Yeah, that's it. Shaqiri left 2 years ago, Dave. 2 years ago.
Who did? Yeah, Shaqiri.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Shaqiri.
Yeah,
brilliant player, man. I know he left it was 2 years ago. A brilliant player, though, but he was the real deal compared to Granit Xhaka. I mean, when I was living in Switzerland for 10 years, I remember I think it was 16. I'm going back a bit now. And Switzerland were playing. And I mean, they had a game against Poland and they were 1-0 down. And it was Poland with Lewandowski. And they were 1-0 down going into the second half. And Switzerland, they just couldn't make the breakthrough. Shaqiri stepped up. The ball was played in. It deflected in the air. It deflected on his way to him, yeah. He had to readjust and he did a bicycle kick overhead, smashed it in. This player, man, Shaqiri was the real deal compared to Xhaka. He was the darling of the Swiss football team, yeah. Albanian by birth, of course, but he was the darling of the Swiss football team. Then was Xhaka. Xherdan Shaqiri, man. I'll never forget that goal. Like I said, the ball was played in, it deflected in mid-air. He managed to readjust. He had a half a second and he did a bicycle kick and he got it inside the near post and beat the keeper and he got a 1-1 for Switzerland. This player, that goal, watch it, guys. Watch it on YouTube, yeah? What a goal. But he's as strong as an ox, Shaqiri. He's smaller than Xhaka in height, but he's like a bulldozer. Jeez, boy, when he gets a run on at the defense, they're just hiding, man. He's just like a bull. He's so strong. Seriously, Tony, man. He's so strong. It's when he chests the ball, when he takes it on, man, he's big up Shaqiri, man. I don't think he did much. I don't think he did much at Liverpool, but he's very good. I don't think he did much at Liverpool. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't need to be ignorant, but he is an excellent
from Arsenal forever.
Excellent.
Chelsea's interested in Caicedo and Lavia. So this Lavia guy, I mean, when you look at it, there's a few clubs that's obviously interested in him. Caicedo, it looks like that's going to probably come to a conclusion with Chelsea. He's going to be going there, and again,
unfortunately.
But Lavia, I mean, wait, look, at the end of the day, you got to think.
Pride of London. Pride of London. No, man, not last season.
That's Fulham. They live near the Pride. They're more Pride of London than what Chelsea are. They're virtually on top of
Chelsea have outside the stadium, on the King's Road, they have the banners, and on each banner is a player. So you have Aubameyang, nothing personal, definitely nothing personal. Maybe turns you over, son. And then it says Pride of London on each of the banners, hanging off the light poles up the King's Road. Come on, man. We were the pride of London last season. No disrespect to that. But maybe West Ham won a trophy. But we came second in the league compared to Chelsea. They're the pride of London. Then what are we? And what are West Ham? We won trophies. He won a trophy. We came second. Whatever. Oh, man. When I see it, they were terrible last season.
This though, Dave. Yeah. What happened with this Casado thing? It looks like you were going to get Casado at one point. What happened there?
I have absolutely no idea. I think maybe Arsenal were doing the same thing of lowballing him, yeah? The only thing is that Caicedo has no intention of putting up with that rubbish. And he wasn't in love with the team. I think like Declan Rice wanted to go to Arsenal. I don't think Caicedo was a free agent, an open player.
Yeah.
Open to any offer. You know, once it was good enough. He didn't have a particular club in mind. The best club that came in for him would get him. And he is a phenomenal player, in my opinion. He is an absolutely incredible player. Is Thomas Partey going to stay or is he going to go is the real question. I'm not going to get to what's going on in Partey's personal life. I'm just not going to go there on your channel, yeah, because we want to keep this PC. There's young people might be watching this. At some point, we'll have a lot of teenagers will come in and they will also be following your channel, 15 and 16. So start as you mean to go on. I'm not going to get the Partey's personal life, his private life, but is he going to stay? Because the whole thing with Declan Rice is who's going to partner him. He's not going to run the game against Manchester City on his own, guys. The important thing also is who's going to partner him in the Arsenal midfield. Is Partey staying? Shaq is on his way out the door. If Partey's going, we need to bring in another guy to partner Rice in midfield. And that, in my opinion, has to be Caicedo. But I don't think we're going to get him now.
No.
So,
well, what about Lavia as well? What about Lavia? What do you think about Lavia? I mean, like, you know, there's
I think he's
looking to get hold of him.
I think he is a fantastic player. I would take him at the drop of a hat in a heartbeat. I think he's fantastic. Yeah, I think he's a wonderful player. But you know who's a very good player too, man. And I'm not talking about Kai Havertz. I'm not talking about one of the pride of London boys. I'm talking about Timber. He's the real deal. Mark my words.
Yeah, we're going to come on to
this
that in a minute.
This guy is a baller.
And we'll come on to that. Just want to say to this one here and that, to big up to Henry Ray Baker's channel. If you ever get the chance to go and see Henry Ray, very nice person. Says it as it is, but it also needs support as well. So if you get the chance to do that, so welcome coming on, Henry. Good to see you.
I can sub his channel now. Henry Ray Baker.
Ray Baker. Sorry, mate. I'll get it back up again. There you go.
Oh, it's okay. I can see it in the small. Let me have a look. Henry Ray Baker. Okay. You got 147 subscribers. I know you got 148. There you go. I turn on the notifications. See what's going on with your channel.
Big Shaq left.
Yeah. You love Liverpool FC, yeah?
He actually went. It was a shame. And he did go when Shaqiri left, but things, obviously, as we know, things move on. Arsenal forever. He's obviously scrubbed as well.
All right, Henry Ray Baker channel. I have subscribed to you. Keep me entertained. All right.
Big Shaq didn't get the chance at Liverpool. He's Liverpool was his double against Manchester United a few years ago. Yeah, that was good to see. That was I think Man United.
You have a couple of people watching, huh? You have Mama Flossie. Who's Mama Flossie?
Mama Flossie, yeah, she's a Newcastle. Welcome on board, Mama Flossie. Let's just go on this one. Arsenal forever. Arsenal signed to Tremaine.
He's a baller. Yeah,
definitely.
Here, huh?
Definitely, he's a baller. So yeah, he's a
guys. Sub to my channel. Sub to the Old Skool Gunner.
Oh Jesus Christ! Look at that's the Irish one. That's the Irish coming out there, Dave. That's for sure.
Sub to the Old Skool Gunner, guys. There I am. That's me. All right.
I think signing Rice is great. We need backup for Saka, a striker. We also need squad depth. It's great getting new signings, but we lose Partey and Xhaka. We have Jorginho and El Neni.
Yeah,
and this is what I said earlier on, though. You know, this is where you are light. You're definitely light on.
Thank you, Henry Ray Baker. But McManus, can I ask you a question, McManus? I mean, you know me, man. We go way back. Always a pleasure when you come on my channel. But like, maybe I'm not in the know, Tony. Guys, you can all answer this. What position are we going to play Kai Havertz? We might need a striker as backup to Saka. I get it, but Havertz is going to be a forward, right? Or is he going to be like playing in the pocket in the midfield? Which way is Havertz going to play? Well, he is a full forward, isn't he? Like, what's his actual position?
He wants him as a midfielder.
Is he a full forward?
No,
He's
Arteta
an
wants him as
advanced
a midfielder,
midfielder.
Dave. He wants him to play. He wants him.
And where?
He's eyeing him up to play midfield. That's his idea,
Yeah. And
Arteta.
what role did he play for Chelsea? Not disagreeing
I
with
don't
you.
know.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea fans are probably wondering that as well. What position he actually played?
Left outside. He was on the bench. He played left outside.
I think. Well, he was supposed to be a forward, but
19
yeah,
goals
that's another
in
thing.
19 goals in 2 years. Jesus, Haaland scored that in about 10 games.
Yeah. For
5
reasons,
hat-tricks.
100% key party. I think, I agree on this Arsenal Forever comment because at the end of the day, when you think about it, you still need experience in the squad. You still need that experience. Yogi's Doors, big up TV, mate. Good, thank you. Also around to me too, mate. Remains a beast. Yeah, definitely is. Henry Baker, big up Old Skool Gunner. Evening, Mama Flossie. Hope you're doing well.
Likes,
good
guys.
to see you on here.
Hit up those likes, guys. Make sure you like this, yeah. And keep the comments coming, yeah. That's the most important thing to anyone.
Yeah, and always don't forget.
Channel.
Let's make sure
anyone
we
out
subscribe
there,
to Old Skool.
anyone out there, a little bit of advice for Early Doors Football TV in his channel. Give your advice, guys. McManus knows a thing or two about YouTube channels. He'll give you a bit of advice. You know what I mean? He's got 2.
Yeah.
Henry Rebecca channel, big up the chat. Keep the comments coming, guys.
Well done. Good. And Henry's going to sub to
Thanks, Henry.
your
I appreciate
channel
it,
as well.
Big up. Talk of how
every Chelsea signing has been poor.
For Odegaard.
Yeah, well, that's another thing, isn't it? Every Chelsea signing has been poor. I mean, when you think when Willian wanted a 3-year contract at Chelsea and they weren't willing to give him that, only 2, he obviously came over to use guys, and that was definitely a poor signing. He wasn't the player at all. Yet, strange enough, he goes to Fulham.
David Luiz as well, man.
Out. Sorry, mate?
David Luiz was okay. I mean, yeah. But it was Agent Willian, yeah.
Yeah, well, you suddenly become the retirement home, didn't you? You took over from us for a change.
Agent Willian, that's how people were saying. He was like a Chelsea agent.
McManus sense took Whoever's playing as a midfielder, but I'm assuming rotation for Odegaard. Well, yeah, that could be a good shout actually, because I think it's just to stir things up, isn't it, in the middle of the park kind of thing? Because you need to, if you are going to keep Partey, if you are going to keep Xhaka, as much as they're saying he's going to move on, you do need that rotation and that, because who's going to be the regular? Is Rice going to play the regular football, or is it going to be Odegaard? And are they partnering up with other players? It's going to be interesting to see what actually Arteta's got up his sleeve.
He want to have something up there anyway. I tell you. Let me just share this out there. I'm going to share out what we're doing to another one of the lads there. He's going to come on. He's going to watch.
No worries.
Let me just share it out because he actually can't find
it. Do you guys think Poch will make a difference at Chelsea? That's a good question. Do you think Poch will make a good manager at Chelsea? I think he will do. The main thing with that, he knows how to get a team working. He proved that with Spurs. The only thing I found out, before he left, he kind of plateaued out. He ran out of ideas. He got them where they were. Yeah, I think, but for Chelsea, I think he's going to get a different type of backing that he didn't get at Spurs with Levy. So with Chelsea, with Bowley, I think he will definitely do a difference there. And we've seen that with some of the signings he's already got. I think he's got a couple of others earmarked coming in the next week or so. So I think we'll see a different Chelsea, that's for sure. But for me, hopefully you're going to get rid of some of the deadwood at Chelsea, because player power was too strong there. They got rid of three or four managers just because the players thought they were better than what they were. Hey, here he is finally. Big up, Taib. It's good to see you on you, mate.
Taib is in, man.
Well. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. And Muffalossi, how are you? Question from Arsenal Forever. What Premier League manager will get sacked first next season?
Arteta?
No, I'd rather say I think it's more, in certain respects, our manager, Moyes. I think he's probably got 5 to 10 games if he's lucky. I think, with what's going on, especially now with Rice going, there was a rumour that apparently he was going to go at the end of the season, but obviously winning the Europa Conference has kept him in. So from that, I don't know, maybe he's going to be the first one. That should be an interesting one. But yeah. What else are these guys? What do you think, Dave? Who do you think? I mean, obviously you said Arteta, but that bloke's got more lives than a cat. He's got more lives than a cat. So he's staying at Arsenal.
Hopefully, Eric Ten Hag, because I hate him. He's just, in my opinion, the man is just. I mean, he may be a good coach, but everything about him, man, is just. His every word offends me. You know what I mean? He is just like, before we played them the last time, and United were crap at this point, yeah? They were rubbish. I mean, City are the best team in Manchester, and that's all there is about it. But before we played United at the Emirates, we beat them 3-2 in that match, and we were on the run to the title. This was before it was derailed. We beat them 3-2. It was a cracking game. The best team won. Before the game, he was talking about he knows how to play against Arsenal. He knows how to keep us quiet. Well, I was delighted when I heard it, because the players went out in the second half and they took the door off the hinges when they went onto the field. They took the dressing room door clean off the hinges. When they went down in the second half, by the last 30 minutes, we had them pinned back and we were just attack, wave after wave after wave. In the end, we broke them down, maybe fortuitously, but we put them under so much pressure. I mean, and he was just standing looking. Comments like that, I mean, it was disrespectful to our team, regardless of how good or bad we are.
Exactly.
I know how to play against him. We did it before, we'll do it again. Well,
that's what we've got here. So I think Rice will play every week, McManus is saying. He has to. It'll be the best midfield we have. I think Rice has to be captain. Odegaard is in the cabinet, and I agree with that.
But he scored against them that time. Call me when you need a goal. Normally, you know what I mean? He just hang up on you. He couldn't do it, but that time he did it. Respect to Eddie, man.
Yeah, when you need a goal. Odegaard is no captain material for me. I mean, it proved it. What was the game now? When I'm trying to think what the game it was now. You was losing, and Zinchenko was the one that rallied the troops.
Well, he tried to, but he was the one that made the mistakes.
Yeah.
He was giving it to big.
I mean, Zinchenko for me, but yeah.
Brighton.
Rice definitely will become the captain. It won't be long. I don't think that Odegaard will lose that captaincy and Rice will be giving it. I think that's going to be part of it.
Hopefully, yeah.
Mama Flossie, I'm good. Thanks, Taib. Haven't seen you in a while. He's writing new joke material, Mama Flossie. That's what it is.
He's doing what?
Makes Taib and his jokes. He'll come on with one in a minute, Dave. He does some good jokes.
Oh, he's a joker.
When I said Spurs manager will get sacked first. Smack the likes people, as he said.
Sub to my channel,
big up Dave.
That's all I gotta say.
Hi McManus. And another one. Hi McManus. For me, you've got to earn the right to be captain, but I'll give it to Rice. Odegaard, not a captain. Yeah, definitely Arsenal forever. You do have to earn the right, the rights to be a captain. You've got to have that kind of different kind of caliber. That's for sure. And for me, obviously, he's my old player at the end of the day. He will give you that.
Yeah.
He has got the right to be the captain.
He's got a bit of metal. He's got a bit about him.
Yeah, he does. He's for his age, he's got maturity about him, etc. And also, the players do look up to him. They did it at West Ham, and I think he'll do the same with you guys with the Gunners.
And he's also persevered, Tony. Sorry to cut across you, man, but he's also persevered, because I read today that his whole career has been at West Ham. He came through the youth setup. He rose up through the ranks. He became captain then. I mean, he's proved himself time and time again. This is just one further challenge. He's faced challenges before.
Exactly.
It's not like he's stepping up into a position where he has no experience. He went up and he rose up to be captain of West Ham United Football Club. Look what he did at the Europa League, in the Conference League. So he's faced challenges before.
And I know, sorry, Dave. I mean, what we'll say about Rice, and this is the good thing you can say about it. Considering this transfer that's been going on between the two clubs, the one thing the player has done has been respectful throughout. He hasn't kind of bad-mouthed West Ham. He hasn't bad-mouthed anything going on with Arsenal and obviously the payment deals.
Consummate professional.
All he wanted to make sure was that West Ham got the right money for him, and he's got that. So he's got his wish, and obviously now he's got his wish to obviously play for you guys. So yeah, I think it's good to see. You don't see that from many players these days. They'd rather badmouth the club they're leaving to go for the club they want. McManus Sense, I tell you, I hope you're well, mate. And obviously, McManus, I'm good, mate. How are you? Arsenal forever. Vincent Company will take over from Pep eventually. I think he will do. And that's the difference. I mean, Dave was mentioning, Patrick Vieira becoming he's an Arsenal legend, but could he be an Arsenal manager legend? Whereas with Vincent Company, there's a difference between the two players. As much as they're both legends in their own rights, Vincent Company has got more calibre, unfortunately, than Patrick Vieira when it comes to management. We saw obviously at Crystal Palace, he just didn't cut the mustard. There's no two ways to say it, basically.
Yeah, man. Poor old Patrick, man. A lot of time for Patrick.
Old Skool Gunner, sub to my channel, guys. And
I never stop with it, guys. I will never stop rolling forward with that.
I know that, mate.
I'm posting it every 10 minutes.
All day long.
I'm posting it every 10 minutes.
Yeah. Mama Frost, Taib's got to build up on his jokes. Tony thinks I'm a joke with a joke book. You are, Taib. You know you've got that. Yeah, you've got your joke book in there. He's writing more material as he goes along. Mama Flossie Rice could be like Tony Adams, one of my favourite players. Yeah, I think he would be. I mean, not being funny there, Mama Flossie. I know obviously Man City and give City their dues. One thing they didn't do was break their transfer policy. They said they weren't going to go any higher. They stayed at the figure they did, and obviously they've got the man. Arsenal have got the actual man itself. But when you look at it, if he went to City, he would have learned so much, and he would become a better player. I'm not saying he's going to do it. He's not going to become a better player at Arsenal, but he's not going to get the same kind of level of coaching like he would at City with Pep. With Arteta, I think you can all agree, his man management of players, apart from Saka, which he seems to adore rather than all the other players, he will get him to do things. But I think he'll have learnt more at City. But he's an Arsenal man, so that's by the by, basically. Opinion, I tell you exactly. So what does that mean? It means you're saying you're not got a joke book at all, Taib. That's what she's saying, basically. And she's agreeing on that. Look, I've got a joke. I'll tell you. There's a lot of people say that. Unfortunately, my brother-in-law would say completely different because my brother-in-law, Terry, is an Arteta man, and he's stuck with that. And I give Terry his dues. He's stuck with that from day one. He's always Arteta in. And at the moment, we're all eating humble pie because he's basically turning and saying, I told you so. Taib. Some former players cannot become world-class managers. Doesn't work out for everyone. 100% Taib. We were saying that earlier on. Certain players can't do it. The Nevilles, the Gerrards. Well, we'll see with Gerrard. Hopefully,
but the problem
with Saudi.
Sorry, not to cut across you, man. Yeah. But the problem, I just have to say this as it's on my mind. The problem with Arsenal last season, like Arteta, for example, when things started to go against us at the end of the title run-in, he was powerless to stop it. Now, look, it wasn't just him; it was the players too. But we tend to win when the pressure was off. We came back against Newcastle and we got the 2-0. We got trashed by Brighton 3-0, then we came back and we beat another team. But when the pressure was on, we capitulated. When the pressure was off, Odegaard was on song. Oh, he was playing some delightful balls in the midfield. Against Newcastle, the pressure was off. We came back, we beat them 2-0. When the pressure was on, when the chips were down, guys, when the shit hit the fan, sorry for my bad language, but when that happened there, we completely capitulated. And call it bottling it if you want, but whatever you want to call it, we capitulated. We we went backwards. We went completely backwards. And it wasn't just that Saliba wasn't playing. It was 11 against 11 out there, lads. It was 11 against 11. They didn't have any unfair advantage, the other team. Arteta should have set up shop. Let me put it to you this way, guys, all right? Then I let you get on with this, guys. But let me put it to you this way. We have Saliba at centre-back, okay? Now, visualise this now, guys, if you can, okay? Arteta is sitting there and he's thinking, you know what? If Saliba gets injured, we're fucked. No. Why didn't we have something else? Why didn't we have a plan B? If Saliba got injured, guys, it was game, set, and match for City. Because when he was in the team, he gave us the freedom to play high up the field, high press. It wasn't just that he was a better defender. He was mobile, he could cover more ground, and we were able to push up the field. Like we were able to play a high line, yeah, the defence, because we had him back there to save the day. Why didn't Arteta realise? Of course the man was going to get injured because he was playing at the highest level and he was saving us week in, week out. He was putting his body on the line. When he got injured, no disrespect to poor Rob Holding, man. He was the scapegoat. He did his absolute best. Rob Holding did his absolute best. No. He at least tried, which a lot of them didn't. Yeah? Bottle jobs. Odegaard. Saka gets away with murder because he's an England player. Criticise me all you want, guys. It's true. Oh, the golden boy. He doesn't get any criticism. He was crap. He was brutal. Odegaard, brutal. Martinelli, the one guy that actually manned up, and I've said this before, was Reece Nelson. You know what I mean? Holding did his absolute best. Holding played to his potential. He played full. That's as good as he could play. You can't expect a guy to turn into, you know what I mean? He's still better than Andre Santos. Let's be honest about it. But look, why didn't Arteta see? As soon as Saliba gets injured, the wheels are going to come off. The wheels are going to come off. And that's what happened. We absolutely, like Saliba, when he was watching it, he must have been like, I would have been embarrassed. And some of the players out there, they gave up. Pressure was off against Newcastle. We went up to St. James's. Oh, Arsenal by 2-0. No, boy. That was a close game. And the pressure was off. We won the game. Fair enough, yeah? When the pressure was on, Brighton came down to the Emirates, and that was some 3-0 win for them. They absolutely trashed the ball into the roof of the net. Every time it could have been, if it wasn't for Ramsdale. Look, Arteta should have known, Saliba gets injured, I need a backup plan. I need something. That's what cost us the league. That's what decided it. And what was he doing in this moment through the season when he thought that it was going to happen? Could he have done something differently? I think he could have.
Yeah, cool.
He should have had another plan in place. Saliba gets injured, lads. The wheels came off. He couldn't see it coming. All that had to happen was Saliba to get injured. He's a centre-back, for God's sake. The chances of him getting injured are pretty damn high. He got injured through no fault of his own. He was done. We were done. All I'm saying is Arteta should have had a plan for that. He should have seen it coming. Come on, man. Saliba was playing week in, week out at the highest level. Say no more.
That's doing his job. I mean, like, you know, because as Arsenal Fair have put it there, Arteta is a control freak, because he has proved that. I mean, you know, when you look at it, you've lost. I mean, Guendouzi. What did you think of Guendouzi? You know, I thought he went a bad little player for you.
Good player.
Obviously, there was
fiery.
Some kind of fallout
fiery.
between him and
he was
Arteta,
very
and
fiery.
He was gone.
Yeah, he didn't get on with Arteta
gone.
At all. He did not get on with him on the training ground.
This is where Arsenal comes into play. He said they didn't get on with each other, and the first thing Arteta does is kicks him out of the club. But yet you can have Xhaka do what he does, and he still stays. Because for me, what seems strange, I think, was it not last season, the season before? I think Martinelli got into the squad for a little run, turned your games around. This is when you was kind of on a near enough like an 8 or 11 game run, being beaten all the time. Martinelli came in, and you had a little kind of 4 or 5 game spell where you started winning things, and then Arteta brought him down to earth again. He kicked him out, and he was a forgotten man. You know, Balogun, the forgotten man. Last season, I know he was injured. Emil Smith-Rowe, he's the forgotten man. So when you look at Emil Smith-Rowe, what's going to happen with him? Is he going to be staying on? Are they going to kind of get rid of him? That's going to be an interesting one. What's going to happen with Emil Smith-Rowe? I like the player. I think he can always You know, if he's coming on as a sub, you virtually guarantee you're going to get a goal out of Smith Rowe. But is he going to feature with Arteta? It's going to be an interesting one. And funny if you're saying about that Newcastle game, if you look at it, St James's Park was a fortress. And it looks like everyone thinking, well, it's easy, isn't it? This is going to be a loss for Arsenal. And 2-0. But it was the way the players celebrated. It's like they'd won the World Cup. The over-exaggeration on the winning. You know, we've done this. And as you said, the next game, well, you know, Brighton, they got their comeback on you. You know, you done them.
Absolutely.
And wow. You know, because that's going to be the surprise package. When you look at him, he's bought now 5 players, De Zerbi. How well they're going to do. You know, he got them playing some good football last year. Is he going to, you know, can they kind of carry on from where they left off? You know, Brighton might be a little bit, you know, be a surprise package. So let's see what's going to happen with him. That's going to be an
They're a
interesting
dangerous
one.
team, man. They play fantastic football.
Yeah. But he could be also go the other way as well, Dave. He could be the first one out if it doesn't work out well.
Yeah,
so
they have a lot of quality in their team, man. I mean, that was not a lucky season. It was not a lucky result against us at the Emirates. Anyone that saw it, their football was assured, and their defence and midfield were first to every ball, every second ball, every breaking ball. They were first to it. They were constantly feeding their attackers. Mitoma was running riot. I mean, every time I looked up, he was just running at the back four. I know what you're saying, but they do have quality. I mean, I was seeing this bird for a while, and she's actually an Arsenal fan. And she was like, her bro is a Liverpool fan, and they got tonked by Brighton. I think it was around December.
Yes.
And she was talking to me like, oh, you know, I went up with my brother, you know, and we were in the pub, and I couldn't believe it. He was fuming when he saw the score on his phone. And I was like, and she was like, oh my God, and they got beaten by Brighton. I mean, Brighton of all teams. And I said, all right, love, there's one thing you need to understand, yeah? Brighton actually have a team.
Yeah.
No. That was the first thing I said. Brighton have a team.
Yeah.
No. And she was like, I said, yes. I said, you're thinking of, I don't know what, seaside resort, get your cone and go walking down your feet. Yeah. No, love. Yeah. I said, Brighton have a team. So let's put this little fairy tale to bed that they are not a team. They're unreal. I said, they are a fantastic team. Gotta be said for Brighton, man. Beat them up.
Yeah, exactly.
They're unreal. They are
great comment here from Arsenal forever. Our defence was not the same once Saliba got injured. Before Saliba got injured, Arsenal conceded 24 league goals. When he was out injured, it was doubled. Yeah. And when they say that, you know, one player doesn't make a team, basically Saliba made your defence. And when you think about it, the criticism that Ramsdale got, because they're saying that, you know, he looked a bit ropey in goal, he was kind of undecisive what to do, etc. Not being funny as a keeper, if your back four is not doing the job, then you're kind of in two minds. If I go out for the ball, I'm going to leave my goal exposed and I'm not going to get covered. If I stay on my line, I'm going to get done because obviously no one's covering for me in there. So, you know, for me, yeah, I think it was a bit unfair on the criticism that Ramsdale got, but I think it's all due with Saliba being injured, etc. Because as you said, you know, what Gabriel's kind of play was he get the ball, lay it back to Saliba. Saliba then launched the ball long. He'll knock it out wide to the channels, and you know you got yourself out of trouble. But yeah, that just says it all really. 24 goals and it was doubled. Just like when you think about it, that 8 points lead being twisted round, and City getting near enough a 21 point changeover, and the rest was history. I won't say anymore.
Ouch.
But then it comes with this, you know, another comment, great comment. No other Premier League team have been up top for 248 days, 93%, and went on to bottle the league title. So one thing you can say about Arteta, he does set records, but for the wrong reasons.
He loves it.
You know,
we've got Super Mick Arteta. Traición, boy. Traición. No, but anyway. Man United have bid 45 million for Onana. Yeah, De Gea is on his way out. De Gea is on his way out. It has to be.
Well, he's stumbling on the contracts for some reason. Like, I think he obviously knows himself that I think a player knows when their time's done at a club, their time's done. And you're not going to kind of hang around basically because he did a job for him last season, but there were still mistakes being made in that game. There's no two ways about it. So I can understand. And Man United need something fresh between the sticks because without that, if they're going to try and compete this year, they need someone that can stop the ball.
You'd have to blame Harry Maguire as well, man. I know he didn't play much last season, but it was when Harry Maguire came into the team, all of a sudden De Gea became. I don't think he ever kind of shook that off because how many times did Harry Maguire score orgies? Or how many times did he actually set the ball up for the strikers or set the ball up for the opposition and actually clumsily took De Gea out of it when De Gea had his hands on the ball? I mean, for me, Harry Maguire, to a certain extent, started the downfall a little bit because De Gea became very uncertain with him in front of him. I mean, he would run into the other centre defender who was getting across to clear the ball. He would knock him off his feet, and then he would let the striker free to score. And he would also stop De Gea from getting to the ball. Watch his highlights reel, guys. He was like another.
Yeah, but that kind of reminds me. That's a trend, though, Dave. It's a trend because if you think about when Schmeichel and Steve Bruce, they used to do exactly the same, getting in the way of each other.
Oh man!
So seriously. It must be hereditary at Man United kind of thing that a defender and a keeper have to clash with each other, score OGs or make calamitous mistakes in front of the goal. So
his no-look defending out by the touchline. I mean, what's that about? His no-look defending. I mean, the guy is on the outside. He's got him in, hemmed in. Then he's looking on the opposite side, and your man is here. The man's running fast. He's looking there. The ball is there. He's looking there. What? The ball is there. The player's on that side.
Basics. School defending.
God.
Yeah.
He was moving into an area to cover when the ball had not yet come, leaving the guy free to go past him. I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Get tight. Everything you want. Someone stupid. And then he needs 3 bites at the cherry. He almost gets it under control. He loses it again. He almost gets it under control. He loses it again. And then when the guy does get the shot away, he makes sure he the block because the keeper had it covered. Then he slid in desperately, and it was the deflection took it past the hair. You're joking me, right? He made 2 mistakes in the lead up, and then the third time he should have just pulled out of the tackle because De Gea had it. He slid in, and the deflection took it over him. I mean, are you serious? Are you serious now?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Watch the highlights reel, man. Watch it. What's he doing?
It was hilarious, isn't it? So, guys, don't forget while you're watching this, we subscribe to Old Skool Gunner. Make sure we do that kind of thing, and actually all the other channels that have been on so far. Arsenal forever. I'll only sing Superb Mikel Arteta when he wins us the Premier League or the Champions League. So,
but that's never going to happen.
We know you've been singing that for a while.
You might as well sing it now because that's never going to happen. Just enjoy the song. Go and do karaoke.
This is it. I won't be singing that in my life.
Jesus,
it's very true.
You won't be
singing in his lifetime.
We'll be 6 feet under, guys, when that's going on.
Peter Schmeichel and David Seaman were the best 2 goalkeepers in that generation. 100%. Yeah, they were both, legendary keepers. Schmeichel especially. I mean,
Schmeichel was better than Seaman, though, by a
mile. Oh, absolutely.
Big up Schmeichel, man.
He just, was just solid all the way through. Seaman, there was mistakes in him, but he did pull off some
good
great
goalkeeper.
saves.
Schmeichel,
but Schmeichel, I don't think anyone could really beat Schmeichel. That's for sure.
The European Championships as well for Denmark against Germany. He kept Klinsmann. He kept Klinsmann at bay with some unbelievable saves. And this is when Klinsmann was on it. What a goalkeeper!
He just made him look. A long time ago now, guys. He made him look ordinary, didn't he? He made him look ordinary.
Yeah, and Klinsmann did everything right, guys. He did everything right.
Yeah, see that we're all in agreement. They were. They were the best goalkeepers of the 90s, the pair of them.
Schmeichel, head and shoulders above Seaman. Head and shoulders above him. Well. Schmeichel on a different level to Seaman. On a different level.
I
Unbelievable
remember
player.
when we saw when we signed. What's it? God, the name just gone off the tip of my tongue. The Czech goalkeeper that we signed. God, blimey, his name just gone right.
Well, you're not
Ludwig
talking about.
McCloskey. When we
Yeah,
signed Ludwig
McCluskey.
McCloskey,
Yeah,
that
McCluskey.
was, if I remember rightly, that was a Lou Macari signing. The Lou Macari that was in the
Jeez,
job for 5 minutes.
You're going back there now, Tony, man. Lou
Oh,
Macari, Jesus.
look, I've got the grey
I
my
know Lou
beard, Dave.
Macari,
I'm
yeah.
showing my age, okay?
I me too,
Hold my
man.
hand
Lou
up.
Macari, Jesus, that's.
But when we signed him, everyone's thinking, "Who the hell's this keeper?" Why are we getting a foreign keeper in? And then they saw his goal kick, and when it kind of near enough reached the 18-yard box, it was a case of, wow, yeah, okay, yeah, he'll do. It would have no problems with him. He was a good goalkeeper for us, but he was still not on the same level as what them two were, basically.
No.
After
Alex Manninger
question.
was a good goalkeeper.
Who was?
Alex Manninger, when he came in for Arsenal at some point in the season when we won the league.
Yeah.
1998.
Yeah.
He went to Old Trafford and
Here's
he
one
kept
for you,
United at
Dave,
bay.
and Arsenal. Look, can you name the player that has never scored a free kick past David Seaman in the Premier League?
The player that has never scored a free kick past David Seaman in the Premier League. Jesus, that could be anyone. It's not Paul Gascoigne anyway, is it? He did it in the cup, but no.
Well, I'm trying to think myself who that could be.
Paul Gascoigne? No. Well, you're saying Premier League, right? So you mean from 92 onwards, not the first division.
What about Beckham? Did Beckham score past him?
No, I think never. No. Ryan Giggs.
Yeah,
Ryan Giggs scored from open play, I remember. Who could ever forget that?
Yeah, he was open play, wasn't he? Yeah.
Ryan Giggs.
Never
Who could
forget
ever
that
forget
one
that?
when he kind of. That's when all your
pure
players
luck.
stood still.
Luckiest goal I ever saw, man. Luckiest goal I ever saw.
Oh.
I mean, pure luck.
Is that when they turned the lights off? Yeah, they turned the lights off.
Yeah, they turned the lights off, and Adams was like that. Yeah, but it was the luckiest goal I ever saw. Yeah, luckiest goal I ever saw. Textbook defending went out the window just because he had pace.
Oh.
I don't know who
That's
that
a good
is.
question.
I think you could be close to it.
Yeah, I was right.
Maybe David Beckham, but
yeah, that was right. Yeah, David Beckham.
You're right, man. Big up yourself, huh?
Yeah,
David Beckham.
Yeah, because when you look at him,
he scored in probably international football, but they were on the same team.
But Beckham, when you look at him and that, I mean, he practices them free kicks since he was 7 years old. He perfected it as he went on through the years. So yeah, that was yeah.
He's unerring. He's unerring. Yeah. He's unerring from the free kicks. He's technically. Yeah, you can practice that. Yeah, you can train yourself to be. He was good at the free kicks. He's
exactly.
unerring.
Well, it's like I remember, Frank Lampard, junior, shall I say? Because I know with him, he always used to stay 2 hours out on the training field after all the players had gone back in.
Yeah,
he was religious in his training. I never forget his old man. He turned around and said to him that you may use my name, but you've got to earn your stripes. So and he did that. He was an exceptional player. Was an exceptional player. I remember when he when he had glandular fever and he lost the weight. That was a good thing for him. Basically, made him what the player he was.
Yeah, he was more. Yeah, he was chiseled. But you know who was who's a fantastic player too, man, and he played for West Ham for a while, and his free kicks are absolutely unstoppable. You could have two goalkeepers in there. Payet. Oh,
Payet. Yeah.
Try to stop when he gets turned on a sixpence, and he's slaloming in, and they try to stop him, and then the free kicks. Like, you always know how good a free kick, guys. Watch the goalkeepers dive. The goalkeeper was diving, and the ball was at such a pitch. The ball went up and down at such a steep angle. You see the goalkeeper is almost head over heels in the back of the net. That's when you know, that the ball is hit. Come on, his free kicks, man. The goalkeeper was like, oh man, you can see the angle of the shot. Yeah, they go up and over. They almost flip over trying to actually. The pitch of it in, man, was Payet. It doesn't matter. He was close. He was far. He would get it up over the wall and severe. Like when it dropped, it was like in. The keeper, watch the keepers for the free kicks. Look at the goalkeeper when he hits it. Unstoppable, man. 2 goalkeepers.
Yeah, he's a good
No
player.
chance.
It's a shame we lost
Oh, yeah,
him,
man.
you know, but he was, you know, but at the end of the day, and that he just got a little bit too big for his boots, and
He can be as big
you
as
know,
he wants
and he
for his
moved on
boots,
kind of.
man. Look at those free kicks. Go on, put
No, of
it.
course, mate. I mean, I'm not, you know, obviously we'd love to have kept him on, kind of thing, but yeah, he was all about, you
Just
know,
getting bigger boots, man. If he
progressing
gets
on
too
kind
big,
of thing.
just like up a size up.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. He was a bit like Alexis Sanchez, yeah. A bit like Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah, exactly
That's why I suppose
that kind of thing. I mean, like, you know, the only one we'll probably forget was old Marco Bugas that signed for us. I mean, I was actually at that game. He was pissing down the rain, and literally he was on the halfway. Well, he's on the edge of the actual field he's by the managers, if you remember rightly, and you just saw this red mist. He just kind of started running like a good one, and then literally launched himself 8 foot up in the air in that 2-footed challenge, sent off straight away. And I think the last we heard about him, he was living in some caravan on Canvey Island in Essex. Completely lost the plot.
Poor guy.
After forever. Arsenal 98 team only conceded 17 Premier League goals that season. That is remarkable. Definitely is. Definitely is. I don't think it's something that could ever really be bettered.
Wow.
That's for sure. You know,
they had some defense, though, man. They had some defense. And the thing was, the pressure was taken off the defense as well because they had Petit and Vieira in front of the back four. I mean, the boys were World Cup winners. After that, they went off and won the World Cup after doing the double. I mean, that was 98, yeah. Okay, so they had Zidane, they had Djorkaeff, they had Deschamps, but they had Vieira and Petit. The third goal against Brazil, boom shakalak. You know what I mean? And it was in the back of the net. Sweet as, man. Petit with his ponytail.
That's true.
People thought he could be pushed around in the midfield. He was all heart, man. Petit was all heart. He went to Chelsea.
Yeah,
everyone makes mistakes.
Pai was a baller.
Oh.
Yeah.
I could watch his free kicks all day and all night, like.
And I've just found out the person that's doing the deals for you at Arsenal. I found out, you know, who's doing all the negotiations for your players, and that's Scott Kirk. Hey, chaps, give you 20 million for buying, take it or leave it. Yeah,
Scott,
well, I know
what time is it? What time is it over in New Zealand, Scott? 7 a.m. He's all the way in New Zealand, by. What time is it, Scott?
I know he is. Yeah. So that's why he's coming with that cheeky £20 million bid.
He's in the future. See, he's in the future. That's why it's like Back to the Future.
Yeah,
you can see what's happening. He's got the DeLorean outside, right?
He's lost his edge at this stage.
He's in the DeLorean, lads. I've seen the DeLorean up close. It's not all it's cracked up to be.
No, it's not. It's not. That was
I was over in Orlando, guys, at Universal a few years ago, and I seen the DeLorean, guys. It's not all it's cracked up to be.
The new DeLorean.
It's like a Ford Fiesta.
The new one they're bringing out.
It's like a Ford Fiesta. You know what I mean? Have you ever seen a Ford Fiesta, a stolen one, driven on an Irish road? They'd be giving it some go, man. You know what I mean? Ooh, yeah. Safely, of course. Safely. All right. I like to advise that, guys.
Remember this safely. One? Yeah.
Oh, the greatest goal ever.
Unbelievable goal.
His push on the ref, even better. And the ref's acting, even worse. He gave him a baby push on the ref. Yeah.
But this kick here, I mean, like, you know, it was the case here, is the delivery of the ball, and it was the timing and the connection, and yeah, it's one of those you never forget. Basically,
you're never going to hit that one again.
Bergkamp's goal. Yeah, you know, and it was like Dennis Bergkamp's goal. You know, goals like that you won't see again.
Against Newcastle, yeah, against Newcastle.
Yes, against Newcastle, that one, yeah. You know,
even Wright's goal when he's good as well, man.
Yeah, that's a good goal. No, you know, here kind of spectacular ones, aren't they? Scott said 7:30 a.m. Thursday in New Zealand.
7:30, yeah, tomorrow. Nice. Over in New Zealand, by.
What's the weather like out there at the moment? We've had a bit of a mixed bag here in England. The sun's not too sure if it wants to come out, or it rains, or cloudy. So a bit of a mixed bag at the moment, Scott.
But he is a mixed bag. Jeez, yesterday was like torrential.
I know. Arsenal forever. Julian Dix was a monster of a defender. Yeah, he definitely was. I remember, I think we got him back from Liverpool when he done his knee, and when he first started kind of doing light training, he was asked to take part in one of the under 15 game at West Ham at Chadwell Leaf, the training ground, and basically the coaches turned around and said to him, Dixie, just take it easy on the kids. Yeah, you know, you're coming back from injury. Just make sure you're okay. First challenge he did, he sent this kid 360 in the air, and all you heard from the sideline was Dixie, and all you heard back was sorry, boss, and away he carried on. But this poor old kid, yeah, he was launched 360 up in the air. I'll never forget that one.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. There
McManus,
were
early
players
doors. You
like
miss
that.
Upton Park. I went there once in 2007 when Freddie was playing for you. Great ground. Miss all the old school grounds. Yeah, I do, mate. I mean, it was as much as it was an old ground, it was home. Just like if you look at it, Highbury was home for you guys. Upton Park was our home. The only thing that was a problem with the ground was development. We couldn't kind of really build outwards. We had Priory Road, which the buses run along one side. So we'd either have to build the stand over the road, so the buses would have to go underneath that. We couldn't build outwards towards the the north stand, because we had council flats the other side. The south stand, which is then become the Bobby Moore stand, we couldn't build up that side because you had the service road and the shops, and obviously to basically the west side, which was the main entrance, we had the church and the school. So we did purchase those two, but they was going to turn the pitch around. So instead of being this kind of way, they was going to turn the pitch this way. But the cost of actually knocking, the redevelopment, that was just astronomical. And of course, before you know it, the London Stadium came up, and that's when our board, just like your board, came up with the same thing. We moved to the London Stadium. We can get X amount of people into the stadium. We can then compete in Europe, buy big players, buy big signings. And yeah, I mean, it's very similar to you guys moving from Highbury to the Emirates. It lost that kind of family togetherness, because at the end of the day, and that, just like with Highbury, you was on top of the players were on top of the fans were on top of the players, and it lost that. And considering with the London Stadium, they was talking about that the seats would be just like Upton Park. They'd be right up close to the pitch. Never happened, and it still hasn't happened to this day. So yeah, I missed Upton Park. Man. I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? I mean, obviously, we all know that football's got to progress. Management, clubs, the board, they want the ultimate success. But yeah, Upton Park, yeah, I think there's not much left of it now. I think it's mostly I think just a little bit left. But other than that, it's just basically the statue of the three players out on the main road. That's really reminds you of what's left of the place. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame.
That's sad, man. That is, Arsenal got lucky because they had like the east and the west stands are protected buildings, so they are still standing to this day.
Yeah,
obviously inside then the pitch is a communal garden for those apartments. It's an apartment block, and the pitch has become like a communal garden for those apartments. I've been outside there many times. It's a stone's throw from the Arsenal underground station. When you come out of the Arsenal station, you go straight on for the Emirates. You go left for Highbury. Simple as Avenel Road. It's just up there, up a little bit, 100, 150 meters, and you're there. But it's a beautiful area. And for me, I'll always remember Dennis Bergkamp when he was standing on the steps. Every time I'm by the steps, I mean, that man, if I saw him, I honestly think I would have a heart attack. I mean, he is the greatest player for me that has ever played for Arsenal Football Club. No disrespect to Thierry Henry. Henry is a baller. But for me, Dennis Bergkamp, his touch, his vision, and his all-round general play, he played in midfield, but when we were up against United or when we were up against Liverpool and we could not break through, he suddenly would move himself into a forward position and he would get that goal. Even if we couldn't win it in the end, when he couldn't pass the ball through and we couldn't break through, he would suddenly just get a hold of it himself. Who remembers the goal against Bolton when we were trying to qualify for Europe and we needed to come fifth, I think? And we qualified, I think, for like the UEFA Cup. And it was in the dying moments of the game and it was still 1-1. He just picked the ball up, ran forward 25 yards, top corner, last game of the season at Highbury. that was Bergkamp. I mean, a phenomenal player. Henri with his sheer weight of goals and fantastic attack and play, but Dennis Bergkamp for me, the complete football player. What a player! My God, man, that guy could play. He was unreal. Like the younger.
What was interesting though, Dave, on that
Bergkamp
between the two of them, when you look at Henri and Bergkamp, their previous clubs, they didn't really do much. They come to you to Arsenal and that, and it seemed they found themselves. And
yeah, they found a niche. Yeah,
both become legends.
Inter Milan, Serie A for Bergkamp was, it was a no-brainer. And you know what the thing is? It wasn't that they were defending better in Italy, because in England the game was robust. He had to become very physically adept after a while of actually holding off the challenges. He had to be physically robust himself, because it wasn't like Italy was. It wasn't like the Premier League and England was a soft touch. Far from it. There was a lot of physical stuff going on in those games, and Bergkamp could be a little bit nasty. Bergkamp could be a little bit nasty at times, but he had to defend himself. I remember a few times he put his studs up, and he hurt fellas, but he had to be a little bit at times. He had a nasty side to him when he was getting it. He had to put his boot up, and he had to leave the studs out there.
Well, you got to sometimes. You've got to. You've got to make sure the defender knows you're there. Scott's saying we're in autumn now. It's cold in the mornings. We have a barbecue on the beach for Christmas. Nice, yeah. It is
nice. Christmas, yeah. Jesus.
I really do miss Highbury. Emirates Stadium is nowhere near like Highbury, and this is the problem between the two. Like you say, if I compare, the Emirates and obviously like the London Stadium, I know obviously with the Emirates, by all accounts, the problem is when you leave the place. It's not exactly kind of user friendly getting in and out of there, and the London Stadium is no better. You can get into it from one way, no problems at all in that. But when you go to leave, wow, you've got to go all the way around all these houses. Whereas before you can walk through Westfields, but when you leave the London Stadium to go home, you can't go the same way. You've got to go all the long way around. It's just an absolute mess. So that's the only thing that kind of lets itself down. McManus asked for forever. So do I, mate. The Emirates is okay. I was just incredible. But that's where history was made, isn't it? Simple as that. That's where history is made. Scott's asking, is Razor regarded as a West Ham legend? He's really looking good at the moment. He is now. He wasn't a couple of years back. He looked absolutely awful. But I think if you look at it, it's a shame we couldn't sign him earlier. He wasn't a bad player for us. You knew what you got with Razor. I think West Ham and Razor kind of suited each other well at the time. But as he went on, it's a shame that he had to kind of retire. But I wish we signed him earlier because he wasn't a bad player. He's a good defender. Was a good defender. Ask for forever. De Jong could be available from Barcelona. Would you buy him? Is that Hammers or are you on about the Gunners? They're asking forever. De Jong. Yeah,
I think he means West Ham. Yeah, West Ham.
Well, you got your players now, Dave. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, we'll take him instead then. Thank you very much. We'll take that.
He's not a bad player.
Yeah, I think he would.
He's a good player.
He'll fit in most teams. We know that. Devin Bergkamp is the greatest number 10 I've ever seen in an Arsenal shirt. Pure genius. This is the thing, isn't it? And that's one thing you can say about a player. I mean, funny if Dave mentioned it earlier on, Harry Kane, when you look at something like that, it's all right, getting records for scoring X amount of goals, but at the end of the day, who's going to remember that? Because someone else is going to beat that record at one point. Whereas if you walk away and say, Harry Kane won the Premier League X amount of times, Champion Leagues X amount of times, FA Cups X amount of times.
He's
not having that. All he's got is he scored X amount of goals. England top goal scorer at the moment.
Great penalty taker. Great penalty taker.
Yeah. But that's all he's going to be recognised for. Nothing else. There's no kind of silverware. You think about it, his trophy cabinet has got more dust than what Spurs cabinets has, and that's saying something.
It's a bit unfortunate.
Henry said he was so good because he understood everything about how Dennis played. I think it's like with Robert Perez, isn't it? I think with him coming in and that add another dimension as well to your squad. You know, you think
Yeah,
Henry, Bergkamp,
a
and
very
Perez.
different type of player. Yeah. Perez was a very
Yeah,
different type of player. Lundberg would do one thing, fox in the box. Perez was another type of player. Henri, different again. Bergkamp, different again. Like I remember one time when like I was only thinking about it yesterday when we used to have those players, the opposition defense, they had their hands full. I mean, and the midfield, they had so much to do to keep them in check. Just the four of them. It gave
yeah,
Vieira the license to roam forward, and he scored some spectacular goals running from the midfield because they had to keep an eye on Henri and they had to keep an eye on Bergkamp. They couldn't just leave them alone and push out to Vieira. They had to kind of mark up. But that left Vieira be able to run free, and no one pressed him because they had to, like I said, keep their eyes on the lads. And he would
yeah,
crack in a couple
yeah,
of good goals. But that was because of Bergkamp and Henri. They couldn't, and Perez and Lundberg, they couldn't relax with them. You have players of that
no,
quality in there. They do it week in, week out. The defense were immediately, like if we had those players now, you'd see the same thing. They would be backing off. They would be giving a little ceding possession to them and kind of like trying
yeah,
to defend and man marking. And you'd see that our midfielders would be roaming forward with unchallenged almost. Like Vieira did a lot of times because they had their
yeah,
hands full, man, with those guys. Bergkamp was trying to do his thing. Henri was always a danger. Lundberg was the fox in the box. Perez, he was just goddamn dangerous. Whenever he got the
yeah.
ball, he looked like he could do. You know, Perez was something different, man. He was very different
No,
there, and he
he
was
was a good player.
left-footed. Yeah, left-footed. He was a natural. Very hard to stop him. Very hard to stop. He would. How many times did he like flick the ball, pull it back, flick the ball, pull it back, give the defender a little view of it, and then take it away, and then again and take it, and then
Yeah,
speed past. It was like
no,
start with
exactly.
him. You couldn't find your feet against him. Yeah, the one against Liverpool at Anfield, man. He would have scored against West
Yeah, I've
Ham
seen
too,
it there.
except they kicked the stuffing out of him. You know what I mean? He would have scored
I
against
think the
West
only
Ham
kind
too,
of
except he was on his ass the whole time. They just kicked him up in the air. That's how you deal with him. Kick him up in the air. You know what I mean?
So you look at them three
He
there.
was
The
like
only thing
that.
I'd say, the only kind of teams that kind of come close to having that same kind of triple kind of attack options was Man United with obviously Rooney, obviously Tevez, and I think it was at the time was Nani. And if you look at
Yeah.
Liverpool, it was obviously Firmino, Sane, and Salah. And they're the only things that
Oh,
come close to them,
fantastic! Yeah,
to
fantastic,
obviously Bergkamp,
fantastic. Liverpool's for me
consistency.
were fantastic.
Yeah, their link up
Best
play was just
player,
unbelievable.
best player in the Premier
I think
League
that's
in
the
one
nearest thing
season.
that got to use guys.
Suarez. Yeah,
Yes.
that one season. That one season when Suarez was on it. Wow, what a player!
Exactly. Yeah, Dennis Bergkamp, as you mentioned, Dave, Arsenal forever agreeing with you. Dennis Bergkamp goal gets Nuka, all-time favourite goal.
Yeah, no strength, no
Great stuff
nothing,
from
man.
Bergkamp against
Just
Bolton. Here's one
poise
for
and
you, Dave.
balance.
Here's one for you, Dave. Who passed the ball to Bergkamp before he scored against Bolton?
David Platt. We got Platty on a free, I think. Yeah, see, I put up the while ago. David
He was
Platt
a
was
good
the
player
man.
at the time, wasn't
Yeah, and he played it
he?
directly into
Bergkamp's
Bergkamp's feet. He had
like,
experience, you know. Platt had that international experience. He wasn't at his best. He was like at the end of his career. When he received the ball, he saw Bergkamp ahead of him and he played it to feet. And Bergkamp took one touch, unleashed, and it was into the roof of the net. But Platt as well, I remember he played a nice ball, a simple ball into feet. Bergkamp just had to take one touch and he unleashed it. You know, Platt knew like
he was a great
straight
player.
ball into feet. Just give it to him. And Bergkamp just took it
Platt
on.
was a good player.
Stuck
I
it
like
in.
Platt. Platt was good for England. You only had it from a short spell, short spell at Arsenal with that. But yeah, he was a good player.
Technically good, man. He had good technique.
Definitely. And I like the fact that
Ball to
he
feet,
did it with a smile on his face.
And he would play the ball into feet. You know what I mean? He made sure that he gave it to you with some kind of quality that you can just take it on, one touch, and play it forward. He was good at that. I'll be honest,
Arsenal forever.
I
Did
saw
you know
her live.
Beyonce used Tom Empty trophy cabinet as a changing room as it's the biggest empty space in the stadium? I think
ding, ding,
last season it was
one.
more the pitch. it was more the pitch last season because none of their players showed up. That's for sure.
Tony, I like your background. What you got going on here, man? Tony.
Huh?
I like this. I
My
like
background?
this. Yeah. I like what you did here. Yeah. What you use,
Thank you, mate.
Canva, or you use
Yeah,
What do you use, Canva?
Canva.
Yeah, Canva's alright. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, Photoshop as well.
First
You can
goal
do a
into
lot with Photoshop, you know.
Yeah, I know that as well. But this, what you can do with Canva is quite good, actually. You know, the stuff you can add onto it.
Yeah. I have these business cards, guys. I don't know, did you see them? But I did them on Canva.
It's good.
Yeah,
Perez,
I just
do you remember
uploaded it onto
Perez? Yeah.
Perez lobbing Schmeichel.
That was class to see that.
Oh,
That was a good one. That was a good goal.
great chip, yeah.
Mine was like the Canio with what's his name? The French keeper. Oh, jeez, what was his name?
Barthez.
Barthez, yeah.
Barthez.
When everyone thought it should have been the free kick. Di Canio kept on running. Barthez tried to put him off, and he put it away. That was good to see that as well. But Manis, I see Kane going to United. He'd be silly going to Bayern. He'd be forgotten about. Exactly. Just think he'll end up at United, and Levy would be stupid to turn it down because he's going to leave on a free next year. I think he would do if he stayed on, and then next season he'll leave on a free. But Levy, that man is just stubborn as anything. I mean, I thought David Sullivan was bad, but Daniel Levy tops the title for that. He would literally cut his nose off to spite his face, and he would make sure that, if he's not going to go anywhere this season, I'll get what I can out of him, and then next season he can leave on a free, and that would be a bit of a sad reflection really on the player. Scott Kirk, if you're on the bottom 5 after 12 games, would you get rid of David Moyes? Did talk about this earlier, Scott. I think for me, I think he is in my eyes. I think he's in borrowed time. We need a little bit of different style of way we play football. We're quite defensive in certain respects. We need to kind of be a bit more attacking as well as defending. So I think if you look at it, we don't. I think the next 5 games, the first 5 games, are going to be quite important. We've got to try and get maximum points out of that. But if he doesn't do it, then I think he's going to be on borrowed time, and I don't think he'll be here long. By all accounts, the rumor is he was supposed to have told the players that with the Europa Conference, if we win that, he'll leave. But then, of course, he's still here. So some of the players, apparently, there's a bit of an unrest in the West Ham camp. How true that is, because it's this time of the season. We always hear rumours, speculations. So I think, it should be interesting to see what happens in there. I mean, I don't think if he doesn't get things right, or he doesn't buy the right players, and he doesn't change the style of play, I don't think the board will put up for too long. Oh, geez, here they go again.
What is that about?
Sorry about them. Forget about them. Arsenal for Bruce Rioch got us to 5th in the league, but he did bring Bergkamp and David Platt, so I thank him for that.
Yeah, he did, man.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Sometimes, certain managers, they may not last, but they kind of bring in certain players that do the job. McManus says, I think Streamlabs has been on the boost tonight. It's telling me now that I've been putting up links and refrain from posting links. I think you should have left the booze and have a lie down. Jesus, yeah, I know. I was thinking of what links? I don't remember seeing anything in there. Scott Kirk, Bergkamp was a David Dean buy. Definitely not Rick. Oh, was he? Yeah, I mean, David Dean, he was Mr. Arsenal, wasn't he? He actually kind of, he got Wenger in. That kind of helped you out. It's a shame when he went, but like we said earlier on, Tom's got to move on. You've got to kind of think about development. But we'll see. What's the last comment here? Tony, West Ham versus Liverpool in the FA Cup final was a classic. That Gerrard goal, well, I mean, yeah. I remember that one clearly. Arsenal forever. We'd just come back from our honeymoon, funny enough. Had all the family around watching the game. It looked like it was a done deal. We was getting something out of it. And then, that goal, I mean, that's what Gerrard was good at, wasn't he? Scoring goals from long distance. He really could have put a ball away. So that was a bit of a shame, really. It was a classic game. Not the result we wanted at the end of the day, but yeah, don't forget that it was you couldn't. That was a goal that was basically unstoppable. It's as simple as that. There's no two ways about it. David McManus, David Dean was a genius. Loved that guy. He was, wasn't he? You know, not being funny, is a similar fella. God rest his soul, was old Matthew Harding for Chelsea. You know, I think if you look at it, he was adored by the Chelsea fans. He was, you know, by the looks of it, he was kind of very similar to David Dean. He was in the same kind of mould as him. It looked like he was going to be kind of taken over from Ken Bates, which and was going to invest money into the club, which I think Bates wasn't really doing at that time. And unfortunately, was killed in a helicopter crash, and it was a sad time for him. You know, and of course, before we knew it, in came Abramovich, and the rest was history, as we know. Just as we saw, you know, I ain't going to say his name because it was too long. The chairman for Leicester, when you see, you know, when he was killed in a helicopter crash as well, that was that was a shame to see that, because he loved Leicester, the Leicester fans, and the fans loved him as well. But yeah, and it all comes down to one piece of metal not being screwed in properly. Scott Kirk agreed. It all started to go a little strange after Dean was pushed out. His book is really good. Yeah, I've heard it kind of gives quite a lot of insight into how things were done. So yeah, it was, you know, it was a shame, because I think from that point onwards, that's when Arsenal seemed to kind of turn a corner, but maybe not for the right reasons. Well, it's my turn to go. I'm back as well now. Matthew Harding, such a shame what happened to him. It was McManus. Yeah, I mean, you know, he seemed, you know, for Chelsea, he was a breath of fresh air by the sounds of it. He was one of those that was, he was for the fans. You know, I think he sat in with the fans. He was, you know, he was a normal person at the end of the day.
What actually happened?
That helicopter crash, it was a shame. And again,
Matthew Harding.
I think they were going to a game, I remember rightly, and that, or he was leaving the game. No, I think he was going to a game, and I think the weather was bad, and then it ended kind of crashing, and I think it was him. Well, I think they all got killed. I think they all got killed in the helicopter. So yeah, it was a bit of a shame, really, you know, because yeah, that could have been a completely different story for Chelsea if he'd still been around.
That was
How do you think Spurs will do this year? I mean,
let's see, let's see. Jesus God, man. Let's see, my nerves.
When you look at that, I mean, you know, we was joking earlier on saying that, you know, Arsenal become the retirement home for ex-Chelsea players. Man. Spurs at the moment was, or say last season, was more a care home, because that squad just needs completely rebuilding. You know, if you look at it, the only player that really stood out for them was Kane. There was nothing else. I don't think there was anything else that really stood out for him. Yeah, I'm just going up. No, there was no one. It was literally Kane. I mean, Son had completely gone off the ball. There was nothing coming out of him. Mora, nothing. Yeah, Dyer was definitely Dyer. So there's no two ways about it. Yeah, it's got to say how salesy banter. Well, sometimes it's
crap. I hope.
I mean, Spurs banter. Yeah, I mean, I think he was right in the first place there, Scott. Salesy banter instead of Spurs banter. Crap. I hope. Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because when you look at this Posteluga, by all accounts and that, you know, no one really knew about him when he came to Celtic, and I know obviously Celtic is completely, or say the Scottish Premier is different to our Premier League. The stand is a lot different, obviously, but you know, but the manager himself, he's got a certain something about himself. So it's how he'll apply himself there. will the players respond to him? I mean, they're actually kind of backing him as well. They're giving him some players. Again, another one they're backing, unlike the likes of Mourinho and Conte. I think Levy just sold a dream with them two managers, two, serious league winner managers, and Levy kind of sold them down the river. But with Postecoglou, he's actually kind of giving him a bit of money. He's actually letting him buy some players. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, let's hope they're not going to do as well as they think they are. Scott Kirk, watching them is just depressing. I love it.
Those poor souls.
We all love Spurs. We all love Spurs at the end of the
day. They have their own crosses to bear, man. They have their own crosses to bear. Poor Harry Kane. I actually feel sorry for him. All joking aside, I do actually feel sorry for him. He should leave now, man, and win something.
He had the opportunity to go to City, didn't he? He had the opportunity to go to City and actually win things. And the fact that Levy persuaded him to stay on, I think obviously the £330,000 a week extra that he was getting kind of thing was the sweetener. But really, it's not being funny. Shearer, yeah, he went to Newcastle when he could have gone to Man United and that, but at least the bloke had a Premier League title under his belt. That's a big difference. Kane's not even going to have that.
Yeah, SAS.
Yeah,
Shearer and Sutton. He did well at Newcastle, though. Thunderous.
Yeah, he did. And that's the thing. I mean, obviously, at the time, Newcastle was in a position where they weren't going to win things, but you knew full well. I mean, there was good for scoring goals, but there was also good for conceding goals, and that was where they went wrong.
Yeah.
Look at the fact that, at least he's got a title under his belt, and he'll still have that to this day. Kane's going to just have the record of he's England top goal scorer at the moment, and there's a chance. And this is what I think with Kane. If he gets to beat Shearer's record, then I think he'll retire. I think that's what he's itching to do more than anything else. Regardless of winning a title, if he can get that record, he'll be a happy man. But then it just shows you how ambitious the player is, and that's quite sad, really. Scott Kirk,
Spurs, man.
Thomas Frank would be good for West Ham. Yeah, definitely. I think he's. I like what he does at Brentford. When you look at when they first come to the Premier League, you guys played them at their ground on a Friday night, and they convincingly beat you 2-0. It was great. It was not the fact of obviously it was beating you. It was just the fact of a team like that coming into the league and basically not being afraid of playing someone like Arsenal and other teams as they went through the season. But it's how they celebrated afterwards, and that they actually kind of engaged with the fans. They actually walked around the whole of the stadium, engaging with their fan base. To make it's a family club. How good is to see something like that? We don't see that often. So that was brilliant to see. I mean, and that's what I like.
It's a nice touch. It's a nice touch.
Yeah, it is. It's something we don't really see so much these days. If you look at it, you're actually kind of getting the manager pointing to the players. Go out and see the fans. They're paying the money. Go and see them guys. But with Brentford, it's a case of no, that's a standard feature. You finish a game, you go and see the fans. You kind of make them feel like they was on the pitch with you. Well, how different is that?
They've got themselves a new player now. He's actually one of the Irish players. He's an Irish international.
Yes.
Let me check his name again.
Yeah.
They signed him,
Nathan. What's his name there? Yeah, this is, I think, they got him from Wolves. Paid, I think it was £23 million. I think it's the highest money paid for a
Nathan Collins.
An Irish player. Collins. That's Nathan Collins. Yeah, I think it's the highest player money's been paid for an Irish player.
23 million.
And this is the third attempt that they've tried to get hold of the player. So it's a good signing for him. It's a good signing for the player as well. It's a good match.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good for Ireland. It's good for Ireland as well because they'll have another defender that's getting Yeah, that's getting regular
Slapped up.
playing time. He's getting regular playing time, you know.
Yeah. See, Brentford, look, they have the lowest wage bill. Yeah. Interesting. That shows, doesn't it?
That's no surprise.
Apparently, Thomas Frank never played football. No, you don't always have to play football to win things in that. I mean,
To
like me,
manage.
I've got 2 left feet in that. I've got 2 left feet as a player. But yeah, I've done, semi-pro. I've done Sunday football, and I've done all right of it. I've won leagues, I've won cups, and yeah, I've got 2 left feet. I'm a Daniel Day-Lewis at the end of the day, and I've got 2 left feet. But I've managed to do all right over the seasons that
If
I've
you're
done
like
football with
if you're like
clubs.
Daniel Day-Lewis now, boy, you're doing all right. The greatest ever
Yeah,
Irish
I'm doing
actor.
all right. Yeah, of course. I just do it
The
for the
greatest
crack, as they
Irish
say. You
actor
know that.
of all time. Yeah, from my left foot, but he's very good at. But yeah,
Mm,
you did
yeah,
semi-pro.
definitely.
That's a good level, man. Semi-pro is a high level.
So it's good. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I've also worked at West Ham as
a
well.
high
So
level.
like
Hmm.
I've done well. I've done better than most people. Put it that way.
Hmm.
McMahon how is Scott Carson still in a living at City?
Oh my
I think if you
gosh,
look at
that's
it,
so sad.
it's one of those. I think every club needs one. Every club has one kind of thing in there. I mean, not being funny. I don't know if any of you guys have watched last season. Wrexham, Wrexham and getting Ben Foster.
Yeah, yeah.
What a great thing that is. And watching Wrexham, I mean, that's a great story. Seeing what they've done. Obviously, we know obviously they've got the backing from the American owners, like you guys have, but they've come in with the right approach. They've made sure that they engage with the fans first of all. They've actually kind of got them on their side. They've actually got them working for the club as well. And it was great to see him. After you think 15 seasons stuck in that division and not being able to get out of it, and they have. And so has Notts County, and it was good to see them get out. Both them teams deserve to get out of that league. They're both too good for that league. 100 odd points between the pair of them. They deserved it. So this, it'd be good to see what's going to happen this season for them. And it's good. It's good to see it, kind of thing. But no, Thomas Frank, yeah, great manager. Very clear, nicely spoken, gets it across. So yeah, you don't mind things like that.
He's a positive individual.
Yes, most definitely, mate. Most definitely, Scott. I was telling Dave a while back, I'm still playing striker in the local team at 47 in New Zealand levels that make me prime Ronaldo. No, 9. Well done, mate. Hats off to you. Fair play. I like that. Yeah, I had a player like that. We called him Big Ken. Probably twice the size of what you are, Scott, but he was still playing it and still could hold players off. Still could find the back of the net as well, even though he was
Yeah,
in
it's
centre mid.
touch on the ball. Yeah, it's that touch, that
Yeah,
control. It stays with players.
experience, isn't it? Experience.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it comes
I
down
used
to.
to.
And that. I mean, obviously, we had that with Teddy Sheringham.
Mm,
Couldn't run to save his life, but experience says it all.
yeah,
Because
strength on the
what he could do
ball.
with the ball.
Yeah, strength on the ball. Like I didn't play at any level in football. Yeah, like I was saying, I didn't play at any level in football, but I used to do karate, and then to do with the karate, I would like the extra stamina and the endurance to play
Mm-hmm.
football. So I would play football just to build up the cardio, yeah, like extra workout, strengthens
Yep.
the legs, and it's intense. So I would do football. So we would do like 5-a-side, and sometimes we would play outdoor, like full field. When I did 5-a-side, we met some players from the Munster Senior League, and Munster Senior League is semi-pro. So there used to be some players from the Munster Senior League, Irish level, yeah, semi-pro, and we would play them. And some of them were like older guys, to be respectful to them.
Mm.
But the one
Yeah.
thing that they had, apart from a perfect first touch, that when like if you were a defender or whatever, once they got their bodies between you and the ball, you could hardly see the ball with some of them. They would make it very difficult to see where the ball was when it was at their feet. It was, and they used their body effectively to shield the ball. And a lot of them had bare strength. I mean, like a gorilla, you know.
Yeah.
And I was at my peak fitness, yeah, and I was as strong as an ox, guys. I'm not going to lie. But they had the lower center of gravity and just different kind of strength. They could shift the ball from left to right, from right to left, and they did it with power. They wouldn't let you get a sniff of the ball. And it's that kind of level, yeah. It's just different class, a different kind of strength. I mean, they would make it sometimes, like I said.
He'll be back with us shortly.
Yeah, here I am, guys. If you got to the ball first, no problem. But if they got to the ball and they had the ball, they used their body between you and the ball. Yeah, it was almost impossible to actually dispossess them, because if you got a toe in, like I got a foot in many times, and I went to retrieve the ball, they were back with the close control again, and they had it under control again. It's actually more difficult than you think. It's different. You know, man. You know what I'm talking about, Tony. Yeah, when they have the close control, but they also have. There's a lot of physicality goes into it too, yeah. And they had physicality. And you need that. You need strength. I mean, look at the Arsenal midfield. That was part of our problem. Martin Odegaard, lightweight. Fabio Vieira, lightweight. We need Petits in there. We need Vieiras. We need Declan Rices. We don't need little skinny boys with little twiggy legs. You need guys like all of the guys that I struggled with. They were like Maradonas. They were shorter than me, but built. And they were very hard to dispossess. Very hard to dispossess. Seriously, man. Dave, seriously, it was. It did hurt you.
They will do. So I'll just look at the time. I'm going to call it a day, mate. It's been a great show, and pleasure having you on, mate. Guys, thanks for coming into the channel as well. It's been a great show. We've had some good conversation going on the way around. As always, don't forget to subscribe to Old Skool Gunner as well. Obviously, with myself, don't forget to hit the notifications, the like button, share and subscribe. And obviously we'll see you next time. So hopefully next time, Dave, when we see each other, by that stage, Rice should be wearing that shirt and in front of the stadium saying, look, oh, if not, mate,
thank you for inviting me on, Tony. Thank you for inviting me on your show.
As always,
it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely has been. Been a great stream as always, so thanks very much for coming on. Last couple of messages. Scott Cook, do you remember Mel Stelling from Sheffield Winds? Always thought he was good. Mel Stelling, Mel Stelling, he was a good player. And Mama Flossie, thanks guys, really enjoyed it. Thanks Mama, thanks for coming on. Glad you enjoyed it.
Peace.
When you get the chance to, Dave is always on. He's always putting things on before he goes to work, before he goes to bed, before he goes to the toilet. He's always on. He's always on this.
Before I go to the toilet is the time where I feel most inspiration.
Scott, thanks for coming on, Scott. Enjoy the rest of your day, mate, out there in New Zealand. And Dave, we'll catch up soon. And
pleasure, guys, man. Take care. Take care, man.
Yeah, and you as well, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Keep the dream alive. Peace.
I'll try my best. Take care. Peace out.